called to order. Let me emphasize that this is a public hearing. My name is Jan Craig. As president of the Upshur County Board of Education, I have determined that at least a quorum of the board and the superintendent are present. It is now 7 o'clock. Registration to address the board at this public hearing has now closed. We will proceed with roll call. Jan Craig. Here. Sherry Dean. Here. Susan King. Here. William Parker.
Present.
Roy Wager.
Present.
Christine Miller. Here. Tim DeRico.
Present.
April Sinek. Present. Sarah Wills. Elaine Pugh.
Present.
Madam President, I also would like to ask that those that are here from the department state their names to make it a matter of record for the minutes.
Jeffrey Kelly. Uriah Cummings.
Michael Whitlow.
Oh, and I'm sorry, also representing here with the board is Kim Coral from Bowles Rice. If you would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mrs. Dean, will you lead us, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This hearing is convened in accordance with the terms of West Virginia Code 18-5-13A and State Board of Education Policy 6204 in connection with the proposed closure of Rock Cave Elementary School and its consolidation merger into French Creek Elementary School. The statute and state board policy provide that members of the public, number one, have a right to be present, two, have a right to submit statements and testimony, and three, have a right to question school officials. Members of the public, in the order of sign-ins, will be allowed to make statements, offer testimony, and ask questions of school officials. A total of 48 members of the public have indicated their desire to submit statements or testimony or to question school officials. In order to give every speaker a fair opportunity to submit statements and testimony and to question school officials, 5 minutes have been allotted for each registered speaker. The response of school officials to questions shall not be included in the time allotted. No member of the public may present more than once. No member of the public may grant time to another presenter. Mrs. April Sinek at the end of the table has been designated as the timekeeper and will advise when 1 minute is remaining for each presentation and when time has expired. It is not necessary to consume the total amount of time allotted. As stated in the public notice of this hearing, written statements and materials will also be given full consideration. All questions shall initially be directed to the superintendent. The superintendent may elect to respond to the question or may delegate another school official to respond to the question. At the conclusion of all presentations by members of the public, the superintendent or another member of the administration will be given the opportunity to respond to any information that has been presented by members of the public. Apart from questions directed to the superintendent and answered by the superintendent or another member of the administration, there will be no direct debate or dialogue between members of the public and board members or members of the public and school officials. No personal attacks will be tolerated. No decision on the proposed closure will be made tonight. The proposed closure of Rock Cave Elementary School and consolidation of its students into French Creek Elementary School will be the subject of a board meeting scheduled for November 20th, 2025 at 5:30. At that time, the board will conduct all deliberations in open session and a vote will be taken in open session following the board's deliberations. To begin, I will ask Superintendent Miller to provide a summation of the executive summary and impact statements for the proposed closure and consolidation. Good evening, and thank you for being with us this evening.
We deeply appreciate your time and your commitment to our students and schools as we discuss an important and difficult topic, the possible closure of Rock Cave Elementary and its merger with French Creek Elementary. First, we want to acknowledge the significance of this conversation. School closures are never easy. They are decisions no board or superintendent wants to make because we understand the deep emotional and historical connections our schools hold for families, staff, and communities. These schools are more than buildings. They represent memories, traditions, and a sense of belonging. Generations of families have walked these halls, and we do not take that lightly. At the same time, we have a responsibility to ensure that our school system remains financially sustainable and able to provide the best possible education for every student. Like many counties across West Virginia, Upshur County Schools continues to experience a decline in student enrollment. Because state funding is directly tied to enrollment, this trend has a significant impact on our budget and our ability to maintain programs and services. To provide context, French Creek Elementary was originally built for 328 students and currently serves 221. Rock Cave Elementary was built for 154 students and now serves 71. This decline is not isolated. It is system-wide, and it affects our ability to sustain programs and offer the learning experiences our students deserve. Fewer students means fewer resources, and that reality has placed increasing strain on our budget. For the current school year alone, we have seen an additional loss of 183 students, which translates to approximately $1.6 million in reduced funding. This will require further difficult decisions as we prepare the 2026-2027 budget. We have worked hard to preserve programs and support services, but rising operational costs and reduced funding make the current path unsustainable. We have already reduced personnel costs and will continue to do so carefully, prioritizing classroom support for students. These reductions will occur across all levels of the system, but we remain committed to maintaining essential services for students. Most importantly, we want to focus on what this does mean for our students. Our goal remains the same, to provide every child with a safe, supportive, and enriching educational environment. In some cases, consolidating resources can help us strengthen academic offerings, enhance support services, and invest more deeply in the schools that remain. Every decision we make is guided by what is best for students within the resources available. This is not a decision we take lightly. We are here tonight to listen, answer your questions, and engage in an open and respectful dialogue. Your voices matter, and your input will guide the path forward. Thank you for your continued partnership and your unwavering commitment to our students.
For those of you all that are standing, there are a few more chairs up here if you would like to get them before we start. At this time, we will now proceed to hear from those who have signed up to address the board this evening. Our first person is Autumn Loudon, and your timer is down here.
Thank you. Would you please make sure to pick up the mic because we are recording?
Okay. Thank you.
Check, check.
We're good. Thank you, Autumn.
Good evening. My name is Autumn Loudon, and at the last Board of Education meeting, I outlined my concerns regarding this proposed merger, specifically addressing classroom capacity, the hazardous French Creek parking lot, and student transportation times. I stand here tonight to reinforce the seriousness of some of these issues and want to touch on another one that's very close to my heart. For classroom capacity, I meant to ask last time if enrollment capacity is reached or classroom capacity is reached. Will we just accept over 28 students in a 4th or 5th grade classroom, or will children be redistricted to town? Enrollment is down, but the United States Census Data Review estimates Upshur County's population growth for 2025 at 0.36%, which is about 84 people. This is growth, and it's projected to rise next year. I believe that with time, effort, and support from the board, both schools' enrollments would rise to a more sustainable size. We should not be preemptively consolidating due to what I believe is a temporary dip.
Next, my concern about French Creek's parking lot sounds dramatic, but it is about safety and people's lives are literally at stake. Most of us saw how both schools' parking lots were completely filled to the brim on Halloween. During evening pickup at French Creek, the line almost always ends up on the main road at French Creek, making parents park elsewhere until the lines die down, and families are often forced to park off-site during events. What happens if the new owners of the old plumbing place refuse to let families park there? What if the post office, or Dollar General, or the school's neighbors start having vehicles towed? It is the school's responsibility to provide safe parking for its staff and families, not to rely on the generosity of its neighbors. The impact finder on page 5 claims that the community impact of closing Rock Cave would be minimal, yet it fails to capture the immense consequences of closing down the school. As an employee at a local store and a parent and volunteer here for nearly 9 years, I see the integration of the school in our community firsthand. I see almost half of the Rock Cave staff and students' families in my store daily, I swear. Our PTO has consistently prioritized shopping local, buying for school parties and events, staff appreciation, our Christmas store. The list truly goes on and on. Beyond the financial ripple effect, Rock Cave Elementary is the indispensable heart of the community, in my opinion. Let me change pages here. Our Suba Parade starts here, and there is nowhere else in Southern Upshur that can be safely used for this event, in my opinion. Also, one of the only Easter egg hunts in Southern Upshur is held at this school. For some, the Suba Parade and the egg hunt here are the only parade and egg hunt that a lot of Rock Cave students are able to go to, and in the last few years, that's been my family's truth. Closing the school would also be taking away one of the only places that offers exercise in our area. Teenagers use the basketball court. Our pavilion is used for birthday parties. Our playground and walking path always has kids or people getting their steps in. Closing the school is truly stripping these children and all of us in Southern Upshur County of one of our biggest community anchors. I am begging you all to hear us tonight. Upshur County residents, through no fault of everyone here, have had a difficult time trusting the Board of Education because of the past issues. Keep Rock Cave open and give Upshur County a reason to trust Upshur County schools again. I ask you to make a decision that puts our children's education and safety first. Give this county time to figure out how to cut costs in a way that benefits our kids the most and keep Rock Cave open. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Madison Loudon?
Hi, my name is Madison Loudon. I've been a part of Rock Cave for years. Rock Cave School isn't just a place, it's a community that holds memories, friendships, and traditions that can't be replaced. Over the years, it has brought people together, provided opportunities for local families, and served as a source of pride for everyone involved. Shutting it down would mean losing the space that helps us keep our community connected and tight. Rock Cave gives people a sense of belonging, whether it's through local events, education, or simple joy of gathering with neighbors. It plays a vital role in our lives. Many of us have grown up here, learned here, and built lifelong relationships. Taking that away would deeply affect us, not just us individuals, but the entire area. Instead of closing it, we should look for ways to improve and support Rock Cave with community effort, fundraising, or new ideas for growth. We could keep this special place alive for future generations. Rock Cave is more than just a name. It's a part of who we are, and it deserves to stay open. That's all.
Thank you, Madison. Billy Loudon?
I don't think I'm tired, but I'm trying.
Do you need help?
No.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Lillian Loudon, and I want to say that I do not want Rock Cave to shut down. and that is not okay. So next I want to show you how much they taught me by doing division. 21 divided by 3 equals 7. 50 divided by 2 is 25. Lastly, I'll do multiplication. 6 times 7 equals 42. See how I know that not calculated. I actually did the problem for real. I don't do some problems, but I'm not a mastermind. I'm actually fast at doing math sometimes. Anyways, I also love the teachers. Like, they are so nice. Anytime they're mean, it's just because you did something wrong. It's not because something random. So please reconsider shutting down Rock Cave.
Thank you, Lily. Shauna Carpenter.
I come before you asking this evening why. Why would you close Rock Cave Elementary? Your answer would be, of course, to save money. Will the closure actually save money? The largest savings in the impact statement are proposed savings in personnel costs. These will not likely happen. Most staff, if not all, will have jobs in other schools in the county. It will not cause rift of other teachers equaling savings of salaries because our county does not have enough teachers now. Why would you merge Rock Cave with French Creek and cause classes at French Creek to be at max capacity while other schools in Upshur County have dwindling enrollment as well? I assume the answer to that question is just because it's easy, because our enrollment is low right now and French Creek is close. But does it make sense in the long term? Is it a solution for education in Upshur County? Why are you, the State Department of Education, considering this impact statement with so many discrepancies and opinions included? It is clear it was not researched, reviewed, or well planned out. As I look at Upshur County and our needs, I see that many families and students don't value education. I see a middle school that we have for many years known as a concern. I see dwindling enrollment. I see teachers leaving the county as well as the profession because of lack of respect and support. Why are we not coming together to find a solution for the long term of Upshur County? We have low enrollment, teacher shortages, some facilities in poor conditions. We have many needs. Society is transforming, children are transforming, education must transform. We aren't sure where we are going or what is next, but we must think of the students in the system as well as the students to come. We must think about making the future of what we do better. What about transforming our school system in a positive way with a long-term plan and input from many? There are so many unanswered questions about the impact statement. There are so many people that do not realize the next step is putting middle school students at the high school. What about the property owned by the Upshur County Board of Education? What about the salaries of the people that work in the board office? Have their job descriptions and responsibilities been reviewed? What about the students and families that will move away from public education if our school closes? Why is public school no longer valued? What about the amount of money that our county pays for virtual school? I am asking that you stop the proposed closing of Rock Cave until the state, county, together can make a supported plan, supported by stakeholders and the community on what to do. I had lots of questions that I have sent, never got answers. I don't think that this is the way things need to be done.
Thank you, Shauna. Delora Brown.
I was at the one at French Creek, so this one here is a little personal. I wanted to elaborate a little bit more on the legacy. Obviously, my name is Delora Brown. I attended Rock Cave School. I no longer have any students in Rock Cave Elementary. However, I have cousins, friends, family members, and children who do attend here. Rock Cave Elementary has been a staple in this community. It has always provided an exemplary quality education, and I am sure you are aware that Rock Cave Elementary School has the highest student attendance in Upshur County. With that, a good quality education exists when you have parental involvement and dedicated teachers. Rock Cave Elementary School has been providing an exemplary education for decades. The foundation that they gave me allowed me to graduate high school as a junior grad with a 3.5 GPA from Seymour, Indiana. When I relocated, I could have chosen anywhere else in Upshur County to come back to. I came back to Rock Cave. I wanted my son to benefit from the same quality education that was afforded to me. At that time, Miss Dottie Bosley was my son's 5th grade teacher. I have absolutely no doubt that her guidance and unyielding commitment to education is what prepared him for the transition to Buchanan Middle School. The students from her class had absolutely no issues adjusting to the faster pace, the block format, or the curriculum. Having my son receive that education laid the foundation for him to build upon that. It allowed him to flourish at Buchanan Middle School. He excelled in the AP classes and graduated from Upshur County High School with a 3.5 GPA. This enabled him to attend private college in North Carolina. You cannot achieve this aforementioned quality of education without teacher commitment, parental involvement, and small enough classrooms that allow the teachers to work one-on-one with the students. Your proposal would increase classroom size, students will have longer bus rides, and they will not receive the individual attention that children need. Making a decision to close Rock Cave Elementary will have a detrimental effect on the students, on the community, and to Upshur County as a whole. While considering closing, consider what you're doing to the current students. You're doing them a huge disservice. You will be neglecting to provide them with a proven quality education that has previously provided to children in the past. That education has allowed previous students, including me, to thrive and grow into an outstanding adult that supports this community still. It would be a travesty and a disgrace to dishonor the decades of commitment and dedication given by the teachers, the students, and the parents by closing Rock Cave Elementary School. I would hope that the school board and the state would want to be commemorated for continuing a legacy that has been dedicated to build for the last decades, as opposed to being remembered for demolishing one. I do have a few more questions, since that's the end of my letter. I would like to know how much money is needed, or if you have an idea how much money is needed to keep Rock Cave School open. As the previous speaker said, most of the faculty, teachers will probably transfer to someplace else in Upshur County. Without those salaries involved, how much does it cost to keep Rock Cave open? That would include electric, water, custodial services. All else would be incorporated into another cost. So that would be equal to equal. There's another 9 months before the next school year starts. With that being said, pointing no fingers, I would like to know why the decision is being made before the December finalization of the event. Is there going to be money, restitution, paid back in order to cover some of the costs that could keep the school open? I don't believe Rock Cave School should have to pay the price to close for misappropriation of funding. That's my time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Abigail Jeffries.
possibly voiding the legal fulfillment of the impact statement. Under facilities on page 4, under safety and entry upgrades, it does state about allowing the possibility for safe entry, which Rockade currently has. Some of you may have came through it this evening. Page 5 says that it allows a merger for improved educational opportunities. I do not think the superintendent intended to make it sound as if Rockade has been withheld educational opportunities, and I would certainly hope that would not be the case. Page 12, this says, closing Rockade and merging with French Creek will allow for attention to secure entrances for all schools. Again, Rockade already has a secured entrance. In the paragraph below that, Rockade has K through 5 and French Creek pre-K through 5th. And so families have the opportunity to enroll all their students in one school, which they did here at Rockade until this very year. For over 20 years, there was a successful pre-K program until it was pulled this year. Page 19, 3.2.E specifically states, the routes will not exceed the 45-minute recommended guideline as outlined in Policy 6200. But then directly below the table, in the tables below, all but one of the routes from the schools coming together are well over 45 minutes. And while on the topic of buses, according to the superintendent from past board meetings, Hodgesville could not be consolidated with Buchanan Academy due to bus ride times. I did a study using the times that are allotted from last year, because this year's weren't on there, but I did get our current Rockade bus routes and did the times and the numbers on those. And I'm certainly not proponent for Hodgesville closing, but when running those numbers, every route but one from Hodgesville to Buchanan Academy was shorter than the bus routes from our southern Upshur County to French Creek. Just because there's a small number of distance, 4 whatever miles and whatever miles it may be from Hodgesville to Buchanan Academy, it still doesn't, the time is still longer for our Upshur County, or our Rockade students to ride the bus. Page 25, back to the kind words and unity and oneness that I spoke about at the last meeting, where a unified school will benefit from this combined energy and commitment, leading to enriched programming and a vibrant school culture. I think you all can see here this evening the difference in what support looks like for the school. I saw at the last meeting there were a handful of staff and 2 families. It would be hard for a community such as this that is combined together to go to a school that we are being forced to go to and try to push our community standards and our involvement standards whenever they aren't there. We just wouldn't be that type of people to do that. So I think in the end, both sets of students would certainly not benefit from that. First, on page 33 through 35, there's a max capacity listed. I know in 4 of those classes, that's with paying teachers overages for the extra 3 students from the 25 classrooms. The desired capacity is stated to be 85%. And using the enrollment numbers from those tables, second would be 84% across both grades, third at 100%, fourth and fifth across both classrooms for those grades would be at 92.9%. Later in the other tables that are have things, the information, and there's a duplicate of Rockade, and then there's one that French Creek School isn't even listed for. So I feel that oversight is maybe one of those little, things that goes against the impact statement being valid. Later in the tables, it also says our gym acoustics, which I see they are here, and I personally noted the gym floors in better condition here than it was at French Creek. There's just a lot of questionable of why it would be even considered. I'm running out of time, so thank you for listening.
Thank you, Al.
My name is Lauren Zellender, and I'm currently a third grade teacher at Rock Cave. Is this on?
No.
I'm currently the third grade teacher at Rock Cave, and I have to express my concern with the merger. I have been teaching for 11 years. My first year in Rock Cave, we were already identified as CSI school for low test scores. Last school year, because of the amazing test scores of the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade students, we were released for sustainability year for this year's school year. This was because, despite all the challenges that we faced, all of our amazing teachers still persevered. My 2 years being at Rock Cave, we as a whole have made it through coming off of CSI, having little to no subs. We've been told that our absences are not being able to be seen in the system. Having positions not filled, we've had no sub called out for our gym position until recently. Having turnover to a new principal, Ms. Lunsford, who is an absolute amazing leader, not having working technology, etc. Our school thrives in all different areas, despite us not having a counselor or a CSI in our school to help with emotional, mental needs, or attendance incentives. Our school has had top attendance in the county. That is due to the dedicated staff making our school feel like a home and a place for our students that want to be here. Without a counselor or a CSI, that is more responsibility than the already overwhelming responsibility put on the staff's shoulders, and we have persevered through those challenges as well. We've had many times where sub-jobs are not picked up, positions are left vacant, and our staff members step up to help and make our students stay more structured and have more of a routine. We did not have a gym teacher or sub for almost 2 months, along with our music and counselor position, but we still persevered and provided for our students. Our students have worked hard academically in attendance and extracurriculars. Our school participated in a literature fair, and we had a student place at the regional fair because our students and staff made these chances possible for our students. Our students have worked hard in the greenhouse and enjoy planting and taking care of flowers and vegetables. They also get to eat what is grown in the greenhouse. Our students will be participating in science and social studies fair as well. I know this decision with school closures is all about money, and I'm understanding of that, but the bigger picture to look at is the fact that our building is in good shape. The building that has been in question in bad shape is the middle school, and no, I do not feel the solution to place 11-year-olds in a high school setting is the answer. As a community, we all know that that is where the problem lies. At Rock Cave, our students are safe when loading and unloading buses. When parents are here for gatherings, we have no issues with parking on the road or other places to accommodate our students, staff, or parents. Financially, closing our school is not going to save money. Our staff will be transferred to new positions, so that money would not be saved. A lot of our staff is shared with different locations, therefore that money would not be saved. Our building could sit empty for years. It is not guaranteed the school will sell to anyone. There are a lot of properties within the county owned by the district. What are we using those properties for? Why can't those properties be sold instead of closing us? Director salaries and salaries for various positions at the board office are totaled to be over $900,000. Why are we paying out that much money to directors and people who work at the board office? Why can't we make cuts there? As a teacher, when I have needed help or support for various reasons or issues, very few directors seem to be available or able to return a phone call or email. I have worked in another county where the board office positions are cut and directors take on multiple titles, so teacher positions are left alone. This is true for other counties as well. One teacher's salary is maybe half of one director's salary, so why aren't we focused on the cost that goes to the director's salaries? Last year, our county spent over $200,000 to Jimmy Cassis's company for motivational speakers, and no one questioned that money. That could have gone to substitutes, educational materials, or could have been saved for future issues. Year after year, programs, platforms, and way to put grades in are adopted, and then the very next year we were forced to do something new with little to no training. We are told we are not allowed to use Class Dojo, Remind, or Seesaw, yet these are ways to communicate in our free platforms. Last year we used Weebus for grades. This is also a free way to display grades and share information. This year we must use Canvas, but we were provided no training. It was left up to us to figure out how to enter grades until after the first 9 weeks was complete, and then an online training was provided. I feel as a staff member, community member, the finances of this county need to be deeply dived into. I would also like to know where the register is located on that's stated on the board agendas to look at finances. The board stated the board office employees' salaries positions need to be cut before teacher positions and school closures, and the middle school building needs to be focused on. Our school community deserves that right. The state is not affected by the closures, the county is. Our students' best interest should drive any decisions made. Research has shown closing smaller schools does not improve academic success. If that is what drives this county, why are we trying to close schools? Research also shows that the state takeover does not improve academic success. Look at the schools who are on CSI, additional targeted schools. I feel a different plan to cut in different areas is going to be more beneficial than closing Rock Cave Elementary, especially when our school has been thriving. Last year, my third grade students, except for one student, outperformed the county and the state in math, and all my students, except for 4, outperformed the county and the state in reading. And before anyone states we have smaller class sizes, so of course our schools are better, that in fact is not true. When one student does not do well, it affects our numbers more. I also want to say that our enrollment would not be so low if our students were to redistrict back to our home schools. If this county is concerned with having qualified teachers, why do you think that teachers would stay when they were forced to take a different position?
Upshur.
My name is Caleb Upshur, and I actually teach at the middle school. Good evening. I'm going to read a summary of the article. The harm of school closures can last a lifetime, new research shows. It's written by Libby Stanford from the June 18th, 2024. It's found on Education Week, and I will submit the full article to the board. Students who attend a school that closes during their K-12 career have lower test scores along with the worst attendance and behavior in the short term. In the long term, they're less likely than their peers to complete college and have a job, and their earnings tend to be lower. Each year, hundreds of schools across the country close because of low enrollment, budget shortfalls, and poor performance. Decades of research have shown that those closures have a short-term negative impact on the student's academic achievement, with researchers documenting drops in test scores, attendance, and high school graduation rates that usually recover after 3 years. But a new working paper shows that the impact of a school closures often extend well past graduation, said Kim, a PhD candidate in economics at University of Houston, and the research behind the study. Those students in secondary education, middle and high school students, they show a persistent drop in their test scores, Kim said. From those effects, I also found long-term negative effects on their higher education attainment and even their wages. Districts across the country are weighing school closures as they face tighter budgets with the coming in of COVID-era relief funds and declining enrollments. Some schools through the years have also closed due to poor performance. Research has shown closures disproportionately affect students of color and students from low-income families, which recently prompted 2 civil rights groups to request guidance from the U.S. Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights outlining when closures violate federal rights laws. Kim centered his research around a data set of 470 Texas schools that closed from 1998 to 2015. By age 26, the students who experienced school closures were 4 8/10% less likely to have attended college, 4 7/10% less likely to have completed college, and 1 3/10% less likely to be employed than their peers in schools with similar demographics and in similarly sized cities who did not experience a school closure. Annual earnings for those students from ages 25 to 27 were also 3 4/10% lower than their peers. In his research, Kim also documented immediate disruptions to learning among students whose schools closed. Kim found a statistically significant drop in math and reading scores among students who went through a school closure. They were also absent on 1.8% more days than in the 3 years following the closure than the 3 years before the closure. In addition, Kim found an increase in disciplinary action, including expulsions, out-of-school suspensions, and in-school suspensions for bad behavior following school closures. The number of days students were disciplined for bad behavior in the 3 years following the school closure increased by 15% compared to the 3 years before the closures. The declines in educational and post-graduation success were more pronounced among Hispanic students, economically disadvantaged students, and students who were in middle and high school when the school closed rather than in elementary school. The more vulnerable students are more negatively affected, so maybe we can put more attention to those students in the process of school closure, Kim said. Then maybe we can alleviate the negative effect a bit. Kim found that schools closed primarily because of drops in enrollment, but poor performance is a factor as well. But other factors have historically contributed to school closures as well. For example, people living in a more disadvantaged neighborhoods may have less political power to advocate for keeping a school open, or budget decisions may force otherwise high-performing schools to close because of dilapidated buildings, researchers told US Weekly. The effect of school closures is felt unevenly. Economically disadvantaged students were absent 7.3% more often following a closure, 7.3%. They also had the highest increase of any group for the number of days of disciplinary action, 38%. The results ultimately show that school closures disproportionately impact students of color and students from low-income families. There is a long-term negative effect, Kim said, and it is worsening inequality. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheryl Bickle.
I'm not Cheryl Bickle, but this evening, my husband fell on the ladder.
Oh.
And he broke his arm.
Okay.
And she wrote this, and she was a teacher, and she asked me to speak for her. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm her sister-in-law.
You're fine.
Okay,
Thank
is that
you.
okay?
Yes, I know Cheryl.
Okay. And I'm just gonna read it as if she's standing here, if that's okay.
Okay.
My name is Cheryl Bickle. I worked as a teacher in Upshur County school system for 34 years. I have witnessed many changes over those years. I taught in a one-room school prior to the closing of all one-room schools in the county. I worked at Birch Creek Elementary for 21 years prior to arriving at Rock Cave School. During my tenure at Birch Creek, I was the recipient of many students from Adrian when the school closed. I have personally dealt with large classrooms of students, 20 to 28 kids in a grade, for many years. We were overcrowded and full of kids most of the years. As a teacher, I knew smaller classrooms have greater chances of helping all students. Less distractions, more one-on-one help, and greater strides are made in instruction. When class sizes are smaller, during the times that schools were closing, very little commotion occurred. Faith and trust in our school system and our Board of Education made it easier to accept school closings and consolidations. The levy passed throughout those years. Now we are facing the possibility of closure of another school, a community school that is physically in great shape. This school has been in a difficult situation for a while. Inexperienced individuals were placed in leadership, positions who were not ready to make decisions needed to smoothly run the school. Good experienced teachers left because they found better opportunities. Substitutes filled classrooms trying to do what was needed with little or no experience, which hurt our students in this school. Finally, the lack of wise decisions with levy and COVID money led to the lack of credibility in our county's leadership. This trickle-down effect caused our levy to fail due to trust issues and ultimately state takeover. Rock Cave Elementary School now has great leadership in place, and more experienced teachers have arrived to fill the gaps created by those who left. We are asking the board not to close this school, but give it a chance to continue as our community school. Find other means to fund both Rock Cave and Birch Creek. Restore our faith in the Board of Education. Sell some of the properties you own. Cut spending that isn't necessary. And get back money owed to our school children. Let us, once again, believe in you. Well, I'm the next person, and I agree with her. I went to Virginia this past summer to a school where my granddaughter goes to. And I got to go into the classroom and watch them teach and stuff there. And the classrooms were small. It was a big school. And she's only in 2nd grade. And they had 2 2nd grades and all, just like Bridge Creek has. But in that classroom, they had 18 kids. And I said to them, do you always have smaller classrooms? And the teacher said, yes, smaller is better. And I agree with that. I have a grandson that goes here, and he has a smaller class. But he can read. He does well with reading. And he's doing math, and he's doing well. I have been at Bridge Creek too. I have a nephew that goes there. He struggles a lot. And I'm not saying it's the teacher's fault, but it's a bigger classroom. Kids need one-on-one. And we wonder why they're not making it at school and they're not getting grades. Take a look at those classrooms. It's hard for one person to control 25 to 28 kids. And kids are different today than what they were when my kids were little. They're busier, they're more active, there's more things out there to look at. And you've got one person most of the time in that classroom. Now, since COVID, this school's come a long way. And it breaks my heart to close any school in the state of West Virginia. Because we like them smaller. Because our kids are growing better, doing better, learning more. In Virginia, they were doing that new math. And I raised my hand and said, what about the old math? You can't have an answer of 25 if the answer should be 18 when you're building something. They're going to be off, the house will fall over. And that teacher said, we're going back to the old math. We're going to teach both of them. Why can't you have a small school with less kids in it? So that kid that's struggling has someone on one. You know, don't let them fall through the cracks. That's what's going to happen. You're going to see them falling through the cracks again. We've got children that have disabilities that's going to be on a bus for more than 45 minutes. I have grandkids that are already on a bus for more than 45 minutes to get to this school. And you want them to be on a bus for 50 minutes? Are you going to put a bathroom in somewhere when my 6-year-old grandson says, I've got to go to the bathroom? Are you going to let him get off the bus at Bridge Creek? And he's already used the bathroom. And let someone make fun of him. And then come back and say, they were making fun of me, Nana. They were making fun of me. And then you have a bully issue. Well, that's your fault if you choose to close the school. It's not that 6-year-old's fault. It's not the other 8-year-old kid that bullied. You know, if I was 8, I would probably laugh at him too. You know, think about what you're doing to children when you're closed. It's not affecting you. It's affecting these kids sitting back here. You know, your grandkid, my grandchildren. I don't know how the parents will stand it if their kid comes home crying because they were bullied or they fell asleep on the bus and someone said, oh, look at them, they're sleeping all the time. You know, my grandson and my granddaughter have rode the bus for almost at least 50 minutes, am I right? To get to the school. That's a long bus ride. If you're going on a trip and you've got to use the bathroom in 50 minutes, you get a stop. They can't stop a bus. They're kids. And I just wish you'd take that into consideration. And the teachers that have come here have done a great job. And I know I'm done. Thank you.
this side if you want to. There you go.
I want to say this school because I have been here at this school since pre-K, and I love this school. And I am here because my teachers, they are the best school in the world. So I am here tonight to save the school. This school is the best, and I am one of many. I hope you care as much as I do.
Thank you, Arlo. Dawson Carpenter.
Rock Cave was a big part of my life growing up. From pre-K to 5th grade, I attended. It's where I learned my basics, reading and writing with Mrs. Craynock in kindergarten, Mrs. Davis in 1st grade. And then I learned my mathematics with Miss Carpenter and Mrs. Smith. All my teachers had an impact on my childhood that helped mold me into who I am today. I attended Pierpont Community Technical College, where I got my Power Systems Institute degree. No doubt that some of my teachers here at Rock Cave helped me. I had a smaller class size of 13. Anybody that needed the extra help didn't slip through the cracks like they would with a bigger class. There's an impact on the community if you were to close Rock Cave. You have an up-to-date building with many improvements, a new secure entrance, walking trail, playground, new greenhouse the kids love, community properties. Community property values would go down if the school closed. With the closure of the school, how much money would the state and county really be saving, with teachers getting employed elsewhere and transportation costs staying the same? You have to run the same bus routes. The students that live in the rural routes, they have longer bus rides. I don't know anybody that wants to sit on a bus for an hour plus one way. I mean, that's got to affect the students day to day. That sounds like terrible. 2 hours on a bus just to get to school and back. Think of the students that attend Rock Cave now. It is a great environment for growth and learning. You have a great group of teachers employed and willing to stay and wanting to teach. I just hope that you don't rob the small school and community of the learning environment for future Rockets. Also, I've been asked why, when questions are asked, why do we not stop the clock and answer questions?
I stopped the clock when you responded to the question.
Okay. And I was wondering if there was like I haven't heard any answers, so I was wondering if there was like a follow-up meeting for the questions that have been asked, because I haven't heard any answers.
The superintendent, after all the presentations,
okay.
The questions will be
okay, I'll just wondering again. That's all I have.
Thank you, Dawson. Shelley Humphrey.
Good evening. I'm here to speak on behalf of my nephew, Austin Carpenter. He now lives in Raleigh, North Carolina, so he could not be here. He wrote a letter, and he says the subject is saving Rock Cave School. To whom it may concern, I am writing to you as a former student of Rock Cave Elementary School, where I have spent a lot of my life, not only as a child, but also as an adult. I have since moved to a different state, but the school remains a staple of my upbringing. I learned basic arithmetic and how to read it, gave me the foundations and inspiration to find a career path as a civil engineer today. It also provided all three of my brothers with a foundational springboard to attend college and get well-respected degrees themselves. For years, Rock Cave Elementary has provided a safe, high-quality, and understanding environment for children to learn. Whether it was my class with roughly 20 to 24 students, and he graduated in 2017 from the high school, or my brother's class that had 9 to 11 students. Every child was given the opportunity to grow and was treated like a family. Increasingly, Rockhaven Elementary students' home lives often vary. A large portion of the student demographics benefit from the smaller classroom sizes. Teachers at Rockhaven can go that extra mile and ensure that all the children are receiving a great education. With the closure of Rockhaven, these students that need the extra explanation or the repeated step might get lost in the larger classroom sizes. I can't think of a bigger injustice to these students or the faculty that love to teach these students. I'm aware that challenges such as budget limitations and enrollment numbers must be considered. I simply ask that you look beyond those numbers and look at the greater impact it would have, not only on the school, but the community. Closing the school will have an impact on the local businesses in the area. It will require longer busing of the elementary school students. This could have an additional effect on them in the classroom and an increased cost that will be incurred by the Board of Education. Property values will decrease, and an existing school, which already has a lot of investment, would sit dormant. I urge you to look at the true impacts. I beg you not to let future generations lose the same opportunities that shaped so many of us. I can remember countless fond memories in the halls of Rockhaven Elementary. I hope there will be many more for future children to experience. Thank you for your time and consideration. In looking online to find information about the school closure, I understand that our Board of Education members may not be perfect, and I cannot hold them at fault for my concerns. Since our Board of Education is controlled by the state, I think it should be held to a higher standard. And the question and answer that I did find online was not very informative. I wish that more information was available, and I think that's probably the superintendent's job to provide that. Thank you.
Thank you. Donna Collins.
Hello, my name is Shanna Collins, and I am a longtime parent of Rockhaven Elementary and a full-time employee. My oldest daughter started kindergarten during 2015, and my youngest son is in 4th grade now. I started out as a parent volunteer, and then went to a substitute aide/paraprofessional, and now I am a full-time ECAT aide. I come here tonight to say I have seen Rockhaven Elementary run as a well-oiled machine, and I have seen it almost crumble. When my oldest child started at Rockhaven, you couldn't have asked for a better school. It had a wonderful leader, an amazing team of teachers, and of course, great students. The school provided everything a parent could ask for. Unfortunately, that principal decided to move on in her career, and Rockhaven Elementary was left trying to fill a void. Rockhaven has had a revolving door of principals and very little support. If I remember correctly, we had 7 principals, including the subs, that filled the positions while waiting on each official hire. I honestly believe this is why the enrollment has dropped. Parents, including myself, have been forced to transfer their children because they feel it's their duty to make sure their child gets the best education possible. I myself begged for support from our superintendent, and the problem was blamed on the staff. Past few years at Rockhaven have been awful. So much uncertainty, and every time we felt like we were moving forward, a new leader would take over and we would be knocked back to start all over again. Even most of the amazing team of teachers couldn't handle the stress and made the choice to transfer. I was left no choice, so I transferred my middle daughter because she had no 5th grade teacher, a principal that was brand new, and no support from our superintendent. I can honestly say that 2 years ago, I would not have been standing here in front of you asking you to keep the doors open. But now, Rockhaven Elementary has everything it needs to be one of the best schools in Upshur County. We have a leader that was made for this job, who is invested in our community, staff, and students. We also have great staff, wonderful volunteers, and students that are full of potential. I honestly believe that if given the opportunity, enrollment numbers will climb, but even if they don't, we all know that smaller class sizes, meaning 20 students or less, are associated with better student performance, including higher test scores and greater academic engagement. If we are truly student first, and we care about preparing students for the future, we need to give them the correct environment where they can thrive. That means investing in smaller classes and valuing the kind of learning that happens through personal connection. Students in smaller classes can feel seen and heard instead of fading into the background of the larger class. Teachers with smaller classes can spend more time with each student so they can provide more effective teaching based on what each student needs. Think about it. Every student learns differently and needs help in different areas. How can one person provide that to 25 plus children? Quick answer, they can't. Maybe, just maybe, this is one of the reasons we are facing a teacher shortage. Ask any teacher you know, and I bet they will say that they love their smaller class sizes. I bet it gives them a chance to breathe and find happiness in their job so that they can actually teach rather than just manage classrooms. They can build personal relationships with students and their families, like we have here behind us. When those real connections are made, then students have a team to help them. They are not left feeling alone or struggling. At the end of the day, education isn't about filling seats. It's about filling minds with everything our students need to be successful. So when the final decision is made, let's not base it only on money. Let's base it on what students and teachers need. Here at Rock Cave, that means letting us keep our small school and giving us the opportunity to show you what small schools are capable of. At French Creek, I am sure they will welcome our kids with open arms and give everything they can. But at the end of the day, both schools will be better off to just keep the students they have. I know closing small schools is trending, but the last time I checked, we're trying to teach students that just because it's trending doesn't make it right. Please stop this terrible trend and keep Rock Cave Elementary open. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Hi, I'm Krista Collins, and I'm a former student at Rock Cave Elementary School. And I believe that Rock Cave Elementary should stay open because I had to switch schools. I went to the French Creek Elementary School for half of my 5th grade year. I liked it there, don't get me wrong, but in my opinion, smaller schools are way better because there's less kids to distract you. The teachers have less kids to teach, which means you get more one-on-one time with your teacher, and you will learn more because of that. Rock Cave Elementary School is where I made most of my childhood memories. I made my first best friends that I'm still friends with today. Without Rock Cave, I probably wouldn't have had the same class I went from kindergarten to half of my 5th grade year with. I only moved because we didn't have a 5th grade teacher. Now the kids have amazing kindergarten through 5th grade teachers. I have always dreamed of walking down the hallway of Rock Cave when I get older and graduate. And if Rock Cave Elementary School closes, I'll never have the chance to do that. This school was my second home, literally. I was here every day of the week, so I would be losing a lot. If you close Rock Cave, then kids will have a longer bus ride and will have to get up earlier, and then they'll be more tired. If you close Rock Cave Elementary, you are just taking a big school and making it way bigger. And smaller schools are better. Please, before you make any decisions, walk the halls, talk to the students at Rock Cave, and feel the heart of this place. Because once it's gone, you can't rebuild what we've built here over all these years. If you walk down the halls or go to each and every classroom, you'll see children who feel safe, loved, and inspired to learn. You feel the spirit of a place that still has so much to give. This school is where I'm going to read my first chapter book, where I met my teachers that believed in me, and where I built my friendships. When I walk through the halls of the school, I remember memories, lessons, and many stories. I know there are challenges, but there are also opportunities. Instead of closing the doors, let's look for creative ways to keep them open. This school has adapted and served generation after generation. It can adapt again. Tonight, I'm asking you to look beyond the numbers and remember the people and the students who are learning there now, and the generations who have come before them. I'm asking you to give our school a chance to grow again and to let its story continue. Please, before you vote to close the school, think about the children who will never get to experience what I did. Think about the families who count on this place, not just for education, but for connection. Moving kids to a different school can cause anxiety, especially for the younger students. Rock Cave Elementary taught us that one voice can make a difference. Tonight, I hope mine helps remind you what this school truly means. Thank you so much for your time to hear me out. Please consider my speech.
Thank you, Krista. Leah Collins.
Hi, good evening. I'm Leah Collins, and I'm here today to, of course, explain to you why I think that Rock Cave Elementary should not be closed. I attended kindergarten for 6 years of my life, kindergarten through 5th grade at this school. I am now a sophomore in high school, and I can truly say that my experience was phenomenal. There were great teachers, great students, and overall just really great people. The amount of memories I made at this school is surreal. I made so many long-lasting friends that I still talk to every day. We have all moved throughout middle school and now high school, and we are still a pretty tight group. All the time, my fellow classmates from Rock Cave come to me and say, "Hey Leah, remember that time when?" And we end up laughing hysterically in the end. Rock Cave is a small school, so I know you're thinking it doesn't matter, and that these children will benefit from being moved into a school with more people. But I promise I only benefited from going to this small elementary school. It allowed me so much more one-on-one time with my teachers, which looking back now, I'm very grateful for. It helped me learn to do things so much quicker and helped me receive better grades on my report cards. Learning this material in a smaller classroom helped me so much because we all became very close and comfortable with each other, so we weren't afraid to ask questions, because we all knew that most of the time if one of us was struggling, others were struggling as well. And seeing how we were so close with each other, we weren't afraid to admit out loud that we needed extra help. And these smaller classrooms help us grow as people. We all learn different ways, but with smaller classroom sizes, the teachers were able to teach a few different ways so everyone could understand what we were learning. I'm the oldest of 3 children. My sister went to Rock Cave as well, kindergarten through half of 5th grade. At the end of her 5th grade year, things started to get rocky, so she transferred to French grade. And I can't help but feel sorry for her because she didn't get the experience that I got. At the time, the school was struggling with keeping reliable staff members, which took a huge toll on the learning for the children. But in all reality, we have to look at the bigger picture because now my younger brother is still attending Rock Cave. He's in 4th grade this year, and I truly think that he is striving. The last few years have been rough for him as well, but now you can clearly see that these new amendments and strong staff members, the school is becoming what it once was. My mom also works at the school, but she didn't when I attended. I realized that the last 2 years, the mood my mom was in when she'd always come home and she was just exhausted from work because the morale just wasn't there. But this year, it's like she's attending a completely different school, one where she's happy to work, my brother is happy to go to school, and I'm happy to see him getting the experience that I once got. My memories at Rock Cave are some of my favorite memories, and I would really like to see my brother get the same opportunity that I did. Another thing that I wanted to bring to attention was when attending Rock Cave, it was about 3rd grade when we started looking at what we wanted to do with our futures. We could possibly, what jobs we wanted to have, whether we wanted to have a job, whether we wanted to get married and be a stay-at-home parent, whether we wanted to fly to the moon. The possibilities were endless. They let our imaginations run wild. They told us that there was no limitations to what we could do in life as far as they were concerned. The sky's the limit. But I remember one time in 3rd grade when we were to choose one career path that interests us, and we were to present it to the whole class on a day that called Career Day. I remember getting pictures with my little stuffed dog at the time because I wanted to be a dog trainer. In 4th grade, I was still on that same career thought, and I thought that was going to be my life forever. In 5th grade, reality started to hit a little bit more. as much as I could for a 11-year-old anyways. That's when I decided I wanted to explore medical careers. And I remember my 5th grade teacher telling me that the sky's the limit for you. You can do anything you put your mind to and nothing can hold you back. Here I am, a sophomore in high school, that is still my dream job. I've considered multiple different fields, and every single one I've considered is a medical field. And I know I still have 2 years left to learn, but Rock Cave truly helped me open up and expand my horizons. And it taught me that I had no limit to what I could do with my life. It taught me that even growing up in a small town, in a small school, with few people, you can still grow up to do big things. I plan on going out of state to college, and I already started applying for different scholarships. Anything I can apply for, whether that's writing an essay or writing a speech. I'm taking AP and honors classes currently, and I'm dead set on going to college. So one of my favorite things about Rock Cave was when I become a senior in high school, I look forward to writing an essay and competing against my fellow classmates for the scholarship given by Rock Cave. Not only the scholarship, but being able to show off my grades that I've received and the accomplishments that I've made to the people who helped build me into the person I am today. And if you close Rock Cave down, there will no longer be a scholarship to give. And that's not only for my class, but for all of the kids graduating, and until I believe what is 2038, which is really disappointing because some kids could really use that scholarship for the greater good. It could change their lives in tremendous ways, and by closing Rock Cave, we will all be losing the opportunity. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Leah. Pam Hissam.
Hi, I'm Pam Hissam, first grade teacher at Rock Cave Elementary School. I've been employed by the Upshur County Board of Education for 35 years, but most of you know those things about me. Some of you may have heard me talk about my childhood at last week's Board of Education meeting. For those of you that did not, I will be repeating that speech this evening. First, I would like to explain why I feel that keeping small community schools like Rock Cave Elementary open is important. One of the first grade West Virginia Social Studies content standards is collaborating to identify a community's need, propose a variety of solutions, and investigate how individuals could participate to solve the problem. The Rock Cave community comes here tonight to practice this first grade learning standard. Sadly, in the last month, the citizens of southern Upshur County have learned that the Upshur County Superintendent of Schools plans to recommend to the West Virginia Board of Education the consolidation of Rock Cave Elementary with French Creek Elementary. We, the citizens, former students, and business owners of southern Upshur County have come to this meeting to offer our various solutions and ideas to not only be fiscally responsible, but also continue to offer our southern Upshur County students an education at their own community school. My speech offers you my personal testimonial of the difference made in my life by attending Rock Cave Elementary School, and in turn, the difference that it has made to many students that have attended school in Upshur County. And now I would like to tell you about my childhood. My mom was 17 years old when I was born. She and my dad were married, lived in Gaines. My dad worked at more business forums, and my mom stayed home with me. My mom was the youngest of 12 children. Her family did not value education. Therefore, she quit high school. But my mom wanted my life to be different, and she realized that education was the key. So, when I was 5 years old, Rock Cave School was offering their first half-day kindergarten program. My parents enrolled me. Then, my dad bought a used car. He didn't like to spend money, but he bought it, and helped my mom to get her driver's license. They did all of that so that I could attend kindergarten, and my mom could pick me up every day. From the moment I walked into Rock Cave Elementary, I loved school. I received an amazing education there. I had very good teachers each year. I was a very quiet, soft-spoken, shy little girl. Mrs. Berger Westfall was our music teacher. She made sure that I received a leading role in a school play one year to help me become more comfortable speaking in front of people. All my teachers at Rock Cave Elementary were amazing. The teacher who changed the course of my life was my 4th grade teacher, Mr. Stone. At the end of that school year, he asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up. Up to that point in my life, I assumed I would grow up, get married, have children. I never really thought about a career. I remember looking at that teacher and thinking, what do you mean? What do I want to be when I grow up? Then he said, Pam, you're a smart person. You can be anything that you want when you grow up, a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, anything that you want. That started my thinking about growing up, pursuing higher education, and eventually a career. From that time on, I worked really hard to achieve my goals. I graduated from Upshur High School. During high school, I investigated several career paths. I taught children's classes in church and at Vacation Bible School. As I pondered the decision of a lifelong career, I realized that I enjoyed working with and teaching children. Therefore, I decided to become a teacher. My greatest accomplishment professionally, I feel, is to know that for 35 years I have taught the children of Upshur County lifelong learning skills. At this point in my career, I have taught many children of former students, and last year I even taught the grandchild of one of my former students. It's such a pleasure to see former students and the amazing lives that they are living. I agree that public education is different than it was in 1990 when I began my teaching career, but answers and solutions need to be made with the best interests of our nation, states, and communities' children at the forefront. These children of today will be the community of adult leaders in just a few short years. Therefore, we need to consider the huge impact our small community schools have on the future lives of these children. Mrs. Anderson, Mrs. Carpenter, Mrs. Sarah Collins, many others, all these great students from Rock Cave Elementary, the Rock Cave community have raised many questions and concerns about the closure of our amazing school. Please consider all of this and consider what is best for the children in Southern Upshur County as this very important decision is made.
Thank you, Pam. Tim Troxel.
I'm Tim Troxel. I have a long list of questions, most of which you've already heard and we have received answers to multiple times. But, as a concerned parent, business owner, and taxpaying citizen, I feel like everyone in this room deserves transparency and answers. What alternative solutions were evaluated prior to proposing the closure of Rock Cave Elementary School, and what were the specific reasons for not pursuing those alternatives? If any had been proposed, then why was the community informed or involved? Has the board considered selling or timbering any vacant properties owned by the Board of Education as a means to address financial or operational challenge? If so, what factors influenced this decision? If not, why haven't alternative avenues been looked at before making such rash decisions that will affect our children and our communities in a negative way? How is the proposal to close the school even practical when the Board of Education has millions of dollars in unrestricted funds? Why can't some of those be used to keep the school open? Why is the 2019 building inspection report, which has been identified as containing invalid and outdated information, being used as a primary justification for the school closure? The report gives a false representation of renovation expenditures, which are not currently needed, lessening the financial burden of the Board of Education. Have you completed a walkthrough of the facility and inspected yourself and removed discrepancies in the impact statement? If not, walk through our secure entry to the school. You parked in our parking lot, which doesn't need milled or repaved. Our greenhouse is still currently being used, producing, and the pre-K classroom is still available, along with the playground and many other things I could point out. What additional research or data collection was conducted to support the closure proposal, and why wasn't a more comprehensive analysis not undertaken before making this decision, since the process has only been happening since the end of August 2025? What is the rationale limiting the timeline for proposals released to the final decision to only 4 months, and how does this expedited schedule ensure adequate community input and review? How is only a 4-month time frame ethical practice in making a decision that will cause a lifetime of changes for the communities involved? If Rock Cave Elementary building is sold as requested by the superintendent, how will the proceeds be utilized and what mechanisms will be put into place to ensure these funds directly benefit the local community? Have any local studies or polls been conducted on the impact of school closure for rural students, families, or communities? Has the Board of Education or superintendent discussed the impact of trauma or mental health on uprooted students and families with licensed professionals that specialize in this area? If not, will the Board of Education accept the responsibility of their actions and provide adequate support to children or families affected by the closure at their own expense and not just the support of a school counselor, but by an actual licensed professional? Has the board witnessed firsthand the traffic issues at French Creek Elementary, which were mentioned earlier? Traffic flows on Route 20 drop-off, and especially pickup during special events, people parking in private lots. You guys have heard this already. How is it considered safe for children and family? How is it going to be prevented if a merger happens when you're going to add at least additional 80 vehicles to a traffic problem? Who's going to be held liable when a child or a family member gets injured due to the blatant disregard for their safety from this proposal? With the new proposed bus routes all requiring a waiver to the children on them over the recommended time and also exceeding the waiver times, especially in poor weather conditions, is this legal or ethical? Have any studies been completed to gauge the impact of school closures on local businesses? When school closes, it lowers property values in the area, which also lowers the amount of taxes collected, which in turn lowers the portion that goes to public education. If you looked at the amount of taxes lost due to this and see how much that will be per year. The impact statement estimates cost savings of a little over $800,000 per year to closing Rock Cave, but it also includes the cost of staff salaries. If these staff move to different schools, which, like I said, you guys have heard this already, you're still paying that money. The financial savings would only be a little over $100,000. That's by your guys' numbers. How's that rational to make such a rash decision to close a school for that small amount of savings while sitting on millions of unrestricted funds while our children are having to pay the price for mistakes of adults that still haven't been held accountable for their actions? Please take it into consideration. All the facts I've given you. Your decisions are what we will be stuck to live with for generations to come.
Time.
Thank you.
Diane Troxel.
Hello everyone, it's me again from the last meeting. First and foremost, I must highlight a procedural concern again regarding the submission of the impact statement. According to West Virginia Code 18-5-13A on the County Board of Education, because it states only the County Board of Education is authorized to submit such a statement. The statute does not list the state-appointed superintendent or anyone else to carry out this responsibility other than the county in their verbiage. Adherence to code is essential for the legitimacy of this process, and I urge the board to review whether the current submission aligns with statutory requirements. Turning to the facilities section in your impact statement, that's what I'm going to be referring to. Facilities section 3.2.b. I wish to draw the attention to inaccuracies saying that French Creek Elementary student loading and unloading areas are adequate. Daily traffic congestion, as you've heard, is persistent and continues to be a problem, creating unsafe conditions and logistical challenges. These shortcomings raise serious concerns about the capacity of French Creek to safely and efficiently absorb additional students and the traffic flow. The student transportation section 3.2e addresses the bus routes, and I must emphasize that the proposed changes would lead to travel times exceeding the 30-minute recommended limit from the state. This would necessitate waivers to expose our children to prolonged commutes and increasing safety risk, particularly in adverse weather conditions, with many students having nearly 2 hours of travel daily which even exceeds the allowable waiver time per code 18-2E-5D of 45 minutes, the well-being of our students should never be compromised for logistical convenience. I respectfully request that sections 3.2F, Student Educational Program, and 3.2G, Community, be removed from the proposed impact statement. These sections are based on opinions rather than verifiable facts, and the community was not involved in their formulation. For the integrity of process, only substantiated and objective information should be included. Student enrollment section 3.2A has major discrepancies with submitted numbers, implying no issues with the merger. But according to the SBA Form 134 data collection, merging Rock Cave and French Creek would result in classrooms exceeding and reaching maximum capacities based off of current enrollment numbers. The listed classroom max capacity column for French Creek pre-K kindergarten is limited to 20, and first through fifth at 25, according to the max capacity regulations listed. This discrepancy alone would totally void the request for a merger. Additionally, the local birth rates are on the rise over the past 4 years, shown in your chart. This leaves no room for future enrollment, placing unnecessary strain on resources and limiting educational opportunities for our children. Federal Law 20, U.S. Code 1701 declares that all children in public schools are entitled to equal educational opportunities. West Virginia Compulsory School Attendance Law 18-8-1 mandates that children must attend school. This merger would clearly violate these laws and codes by denying our children adequate and equal opportunities for enrollment. Regarding facility section 3.2D, I must refute the claim that Rockhead Elementary's parking lot requires paving. You can clearly see it out here that it does not present the immediate need for replacement. In closing, I urge the board to reconsider the proposed closure of Rockhead Elementary. Let us adhere to proper legal processes, base our decisions on objective facts, and ensure meaningful community involvement in decision-making. The impact statement does not have appropriate factual information due to repeated incorrect information and statements based on opinion for the state board to make a final decision on this matter. Our children, employees, and broader community deserve a transparent and thoughtful approach, one that truly serves the best interests of all. Our children are paying the consequences for adults that did not have them in their best interests. There is not a value that anyone can put on their rights. They are not a line item on your budgets. They are our future, and the decisions you make now will impact them for years to come. I want to thank you guys for allowing me the opportunity to speak. I can't read through all of my lists. I will give them to you. I also have a stack of letters from community members that weren't able to speak tonight that I want added to your packet, and they are mostly from licensed professionals that I work with. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Amy Wilson Dedamore.
Hi, good evening. Hi, good evening. I'm Amy Wilson Edmore. I own the Route 20 Diner, live right down here. I'm a small business owner. I actually went to this school. My kids just went to this school. My sister has went to this school. My dad has built the gym and the cafeteria when I was in 5th grade. So we go back in history. I look at what you closing the school will have an impact on not only these children, their family, not only the community, the businesses in the community. We've already lost a bank, a post office, and everything else in the community. My question is, why? Why are you wanting to close our school? A smaller school with smaller classes would provide more education for our children. Look at Pickens. Pickens is a different county, but look at Pickens. A lot of great kids has come from Pickens School. A lot of great kids from Rock Cave School has come from Rock Cave School. Why now? Why haven't the problems been solved beforehand? That's my biggest question. Why are you taking money and putting it somewhere else and not putting it here? That's another question. We shouldn't be putting money into things that we really don't need, my opinion. As my closing statement, which I'm not going to drag on, I think you all need to really consider about closing Rock Cave School and what impact it will have on not only our children, the families, the community, and the businesses around the area. Thank you much.
Thank you.
So before I start, I'm going to give you the Rock Cave version of the impact statement.
That's fine. We can keep the comments.
Welcome. Sorry. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our small town of Rock Cave. My name is Amber Anderson, and I'm speaking to you tonight regarding the proposal to consolidate Rock Cave and French Creek elementary schools into a single school. As you can see, our community is united in opposition to this proposal. As a parent of 3 children and 1 grandson who have already attended Rock Cave, I still have 1 child left in 3rd grade. I have a deep connection to this school community. I'm also in my 13th year as the special education teacher here at Rock Cave, and my 24th year as a teacher in Upshur County. 5 minutes isn't long enough to even scratch the surface of why this consolidation is a mistake, but I've chosen my time to talk about what matters most, our students, and the relationships we've built with them. You'll hear about the budget from others, but for me, students will always be the heart of education. Education is the most powerful tool. It opens minds, builds futures, and shapes a better world. Education means studying to gain a deeper knowledge and understanding of a variety of subjects applicable to daily life. Education is not limited to just knowledge from books, but also can be attained through practical experiences outside the classroom. As our students have already said, every staff member knows every student by name. That's the essence of who we are. We are a family, supporting each other every day. Rock Cave Elementary proudly puts students first in everything we do. We build relationships, nurture through these walls every day with our staff and students, shaping the community every day. Given the high poverty levels among our students, many of them are being cared for by grandparents or family members, highlighting the unique challenges our community faces. Many students have endured traumatic experience in their early life and view school as their comfort. In a small school, the environment itself becomes a safe spot where dedicated teachers serve as their safe people. Transitioning these students into a larger school where they must adjust to new teachers and peers can be deeply disruptive and may intensify trauma, especially when established relationships are broken for financial reasons. We, the teachers, know our students, their strengths, their dreams, and what helps them thrive. If our families want them in a larger school, then why are they here? Families have the options to send their children to French Creek, but they deliberately chose Rock Cave Elementary, showing the value they place on our school community. I also want to touch on an article from October 1st, 2025, where Mr. Paul Hardesty addressed the topic of school closures and consolidation. He stated that because private schools can't often accommodate students with individualized education plans, that the Hope Scholarship has taken the state's best and brightest and left the public schools with the responsibility of educating its children with social, developmental, and economic challenges. It's left us with the toughest to try to educate, he said, and we'll take that challenge head on, but it's hard. It's very expensive to provide those services for those children. Let's take a moment to think about those students, those labeled as socially, developmentally, and economically challenged, students with IEPs, and those considered the most difficult to educate. These are the students proposed for consolidation into a larger group. With dedicated adults providing support, they don't cost any more to educate than any other student. At Rock Cave Elementary, we don't shy away from challenges. We welcome the opportunity to support students and parents, no matter how difficult the circumstances are. Students who value education build a foundation for their success. When students lack guidance, they lose their compass and drift toward trouble. With dedication and care, teachers guide their students to reach their full potential. It is inspiring to watch students grow and develop, witnessing former students who have broken challenging family cycles and gone on to lead productive lives. Rock Cave Elementary is committed to building strong foundational relationships, employing exceptional teachers, and engaging both students and parents. Ms. Carpenter and I have provide after-school tutoring to address learning gaps, while our whole staff collaborates to strengthen school culture, implement personal learning, foster meaningful community partnerships, and practically ensure the success of both students and school. The proposed closure of Rock Cave is presented as a cost-saving measure. However, the Upshur County Board of Education owns multiple unused properties that have not been sold or repurposed. Strategic management or disposal of these surplus property to generate revenue to offset maintenance and operational costs, potentially reducing the financial pressure that is being used to justify the closure. Without leveraging those existing assets, the district may be overlooking alternative solutions that do not require disrupting student staff and the community. Why allocate $900,000 toward a virtual school program and an $81,000 teacher salary when maintaining a brick and mortar school such as Rock Cave would cost less? Investing in an in-person learning provides direct academic, social, and emotional benefit to students while preserving community connection and local educational opportunities. As I close, I want to thank you for listening to me tonight, and please keep our school open. We are more than a building, we are a community. Thank you.
Thank you, Amber. Anderson-Jones.
Welcome to my school. Even though I am in 6th grade, Rock Cave Elementary School will always be my school. I started last year when I was in pre-K and finished, I didn't start last year. But I started in pre-K and finished last year when I completed 5th grade. My mom went to 5th grade here, my uncle went to school here, and my brother is in 3rd grade. This is our school. My Mimi's a teacher here, so I still get to come back to visit. My favorite memory is when we did the Hillbilly Fun Day. It was full of fun and games. Rock Cave does so much fun stuff, dances and all. I've made friends here that will last a lifetime. They are so kind and the best. Coming from a small school, I've learned so much, math, reading, and all that good stuff. So please reconsider your proposal of closing Rock Cave.
Thank you. Liesl Weimer.
Hi, I am Liesl Weimer. I'm Student Council Vice President of Rock Cave. I have been at Rock Cave Elementary School since kindergarten, and I am now in the 4th grade. All of the wonderful teachers at Rock Cave Elementary are sweet and the perfect amount of strict, and good at helping you understand. They also teach us how to grow fresh veggies and fruits in our greenhouse, which we use in our everyday meals. Every teacher knows every kid and what we need. We all love each other, and my mom says that they are all our mama bears, and we are all a family at Rock Cave. Sure, it may be a small school, but we are very important. Rock Cave kids need a school close to their home, and it means a lot to our community. Because of all my wonderful teachers and my teacher, Miss Lenz, I got 2nd place. My project got 2nd place at the Regional Literature Fair. They always push us to do our best. We can't bear to see Rock Cave Elementary School shut down. Country kids deserve a school with good teachers, a good education, and something close. Rock Cave Elementary is all of those things. Please help us fight for our school. Thank you for letting me speak today.
Thank you.
My speech is way shorter than everybody else's. My name is Clara Wimmer. I grew up in Southern West Virginia and was raised in a family of educators. From teachers to principals to Head Start directors and board members. When my husband and I moved to Upshur County in 2013, the thing I heard over and over from those family members was how great Upshur County schools were. I remember being so impressed with not only the facilities, but the amount of extracurricular activities available to students. My daughter at age 10 has already experienced ballet, archery, and speaking opportunities at the Regional Literature Fair, and learned so much from the greenhouse located right here in Rock Cave Elementary School. But more important than all of that is her self-confidence and love of learning, which I attribute to her not being in an overcrowded school. In her most formative years, she's been nurtured and is thriving. Packing all the kids together into one school is going to rob her and all of the students of this. When my daughter started kindergarten in 2021, we were dealing with COVID restrictions. Given the timing of her enrollment, we watched from the beginning all the wonderful staff at this school have a constant stream of problems to solve. Even when faced with challenges that COVID brought, they stayed positive and with much creativity put the children first. This school year, it feels like a new chapter has started at Rock Cave. Things have gotten back to normal. We have so many wonderful teachers and a principal who runs a tight ship. This year doesn't feel like we're flailing, but rather that we have stood up straight and have dusted ourselves off. You can imagine how frustrating the timing of a possible school closure feels when everyone has worked so hard to bring the school back from chaos. In closing, I would like to reiterate a conversation I had with my daughter. I told her I was nervous about speaking tonight, that I wish I could be more like her because she never seems nervous. And she said to me, I get nervous too, Mom, but you just have to keep thinking that maybe something you say will change things and save the school. I hope and pray that something someone says here tonight will save this school. Thank you so much for your time.
Michelle Strader.
Hi, I'm Michelle Strader. I'm a business owner and a farmer. Thanks for coming out. I know it's a long night, but hang in there with us, okay? There's some of you I know and voted for, so I hope you take some of this to heart. A lot of things have already been said that I was going to say, so I'm not going to repeat them. I just want to do a reality check. We have a business that's on Route 20, on the corner of Eden Road and Route 20, and that's a bus pickup. If we change and close this school, the amount of time that they're going to be on the bus, and first off, I'm not going to even mention the teachers or the kids that are here. I mean, I got to say about these kids that are here, how well behaved they are, and I don't think that's you know, the parents and the teachers have done a great job, and I think that says something for our community. Anyway, getting back to the bus stop. If we extend the ride on the bus, let's just suppose that right now, currently, that bus stop, they pick up at 6:45 a.m. Now the kids, some of them don't live right on Route 20. They have to get in the car and drive a couple miles down the road to get to the bus stop. So now you're talking about a little bit earlier. Bus pickup is at 4:15. If we change that, imagine having to get up at least, if you're a farmer, at least by 5:30 in the morning. I'm talking about an 8-year-old or 6-year-old just to get your rear end gear to get to school. Drive down 6:15 to catch the bus. At 6:30, bus is going to pick up at 4:30 because we've added 15 minutes to the bus route to get to French Creek. So now you got to drive home, get your kid picked up and drive home. So now it's 4:45. And I don't know about you, but my kids did not go to bed at 11 o'clock at night. They went to bed when they were 8:30 when they were in elementary school. So imagine having about 4 hours to get your dinner. Maybe you have to feed the chickens, the sheep, or feed the dogs, get your bath, and and maybe even homework too, if there's something you need to do. And you got to turn around and do this all over again the next day, 5 days a week. I'm asking you to please review this again. I'm very disappointed in this impact statement. There's a lot of things in here that, you did base some things on 2019, I don't know what it was, I guess a survey or something, or a review of the building and what needed to happen, and there's some things in here that just don't make sense. And I also don't understand, why wasn't there some kind of a focus group that involved people from Rock Cave to solve this problem, to keep this school open? This is like a center of the universe for us. This is where we have our voting poll. This is where the Southern Upshur Business Association has the beginning of the parade that goes down the road. So I'm just asking that you really consider this, and please search your heart, please. I don't have kids that go to this school. I didn't go to this school either, but I believe in the people that come here. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Wayne Strader.
Hi, I'm Wayne Strader. I'm a CPA, have a business down here in Southern Upshur County. My message to the folks sitting here in the community is something I haven't seen. Nobody seems to be talking about. It's economic development. In 2006, Joe Manchin's government team came up with a new slogan for West Virginia that said we're open for business. A couple years later, we went back to wild and wonderful West Virginia, which is perfect, but we still are a community that's working on developing West Virginia. So a couple statistics that I pulled together. So U.S. population from 2010 to 2025 increased by 33.4 million people. That's a 10.8% increase in that 15-year period. West Virginia, we stayed stagnant. But my point is we're going to develop West Virginia. Those people are eventually going to get here. We may be the last one. We're the fourth oldest median-aged state in the country. So those are some important things to keep in mind. West Virginia economic development is quoted as saying, we believe there's no better place to build and grow a business in eastern United States than West Virginia. I think when we look at closing the school, one of the biggest things that happens is it's about infrastructure once it's closed. If you let this building sit for 6 months and you try to come back and try to reopen it, it's going to be hard to do that. I don't see this as a cost center. This is an investment in our state. This is an investment in our future, and it needs to be taken very seriously and considering as a state, as a county, as a community, when we start closing these schools down and combining them, all the statements that the people are making about the larger classrooms, the economics, the cost centers, how we're going to make the budget work, it's really, as a state, we need to be looking at development. If we're looking at bringing companies in here, the first thing that happens when you want to build it, we need a workforce. The only way you get a workforce in here is you have to have an area where we've got infrastructure, we've got the home base, they need to have good homes that they want to move into, and one of the things that they're looking at when they're making that determination is they're looking at the school systems. So I went through and I pulled some of the main components of the economic development infrastructure include transportation, utilities, and social infrastructure, which social infrastructure is housing, healthcare facilities, and education systems. That's the three bases of that social infrastructure. West Virginia currently does have a workforce shortage, which is obviously an issue that the state needs to work on. If we continue to close the schools and take away that social infrastructure, all we're doing is making that workforce less likely to come here. We're going to have more people still continue to move away. You're not going to attract new business to come in here. We've got opportunities we're in a technology world. We've got opportunities. We've got places that those companies could come in here. But if we don't have this school infrastructure in place, it's going to be detrimental to that. So a couple other things that are pulled in. So they're talking that school and housing are consistently ranked as top tier, crucial factors for attracting new businesses, primarily because they directly impact the company's ability to attract and retain a quality workforce. Businesses need a stable, skilled talent pool and employees with families, prioritize communities offering quality education and affordable living conditions. That quality education is obviously demonstrated by what this school has done. We've had some challenges and they've come over those. We're now at a point where we're ready to be developed and move forward. We take this away, once it's gone, we can't get it back. I really want the board to consider that when we're looking at the state as a whole. It's not just about the cost factors of what this school costs us and the fact that we do have a small budget. We're short on our budget. Yes, there's some cost issue that we need to go through. Additionally, it's about, you know, the infrastructure. It's important that we look to save this and keep it where it's at. Enrollment is down, but again, as a state, I've just shown them those initial facts. Over that 15-year, in the census from 2010 to 2020 census for the state of West Virginia, we actually declined slightly. The rest of the country is going up, and we're going down. Eventually, those people from Pittsburgh, they're moving down this way. They're in Fairmont, they're in Morgantown, they're coming this direction. I see that development up there. I've been involved in a lot of economic developments across the northeastern United States. When you look at economic development, education and having that infrastructure, that social infrastructure, is completely a major, major component of being very important. I just wish that all of you take that into consideration when you're making your decision here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne. Jeremiah Bennington. You need help?
Hello. I was here for like well, I was here on October. And I go at this school and I'm just a student and I love this school. So I just hope you guys don't close it. I just love this school so much. It's been around for 18 what year was it? I know it's an 18. 1893 was when this building was built. So a bunch of families were gone on here for a bunch of time. So I just hope we just keep this place, keep our students, and just keep it full with people, and with students, joy, happiness, and another day. See, for
to school. People need a school to get jobs, now to pay for stuff, and now to count your money, and now it's money. So school is mostly needed for a successful life. And if the school gets moved, some people might move because it's farther away from schools and stuff. So we just don't want other people to like leave where they're settled at and just have a happy life. Never leave. Like I have. Never left my home. I never moved there.
Thank you, Jeremiah. Good job. Sarah Collins.
Thank you, I appreciate your encouragement. Would you like me to wait till the gentleman makes it back? I'll wait. Okay. While we wait, thank you for all coming out. I appreciate you, students. I know you're tired because I am too. I'll see you in the morning for breakfast, okay?
Why don't we, since we're waiting for him, let's take a 10-minute break and let you stretch your legs. And those of you that are still standing, there are open chairs now.
Smart move. Love it. for being here. Rock Cave School is the best school I have ever been to. This is from my daughter, by the way. Please don't shut it down. If you shut it down, where are the kids going to go? Bridge Creek may have too many kids. When I graduate, I would love to walk down the hallway at Rock Cave, but if you close it, my dream will be shattered. I have a bunch of friends and family that would love to see me walking the halls. Please don't shut Rock Cave down. I have completed pre-K through part of 5th grade there. My 5th grade year was not a good year. Our class became overcrowded with 28 students. The learning environment became too much, plus not having a teacher. My mom pulled me and enrolled me in Bridge Creek to finish my 5th grade year. I was thankful I had that choice. If you were to combine the two schools, that would no longer be an option. Every time I visit Rock Cave, I remember what I did while I was there. I get off the bus there a lot, and when I do, the teachers always have a smile on their face when they see me. It makes me feel happy to see them. Please have it in your heart not to recommend the closure of Rock Cave School. Sincerely, Brooklyn Collins, a past student of Rock Cave. All right, on to mine. To whom it may concern, I urge you to reconsider the closure of Rock Cave Elementary School. Rock Cave Elementary School may be a small school with only 70 to 71 students this year, but this dwindling number is due to varied reasons. I could go on about the why, but I prefer to look toward the present and the future. Our students deserve to be in school that is close to their home and community. Students look forward to coming to school each day, and that is why Rock Cave has one of the better attendance rates in Upshur County. This school means so much more to our students than some will ever know. This school is their safe place. Years ago, when I was in high school, they redistricted the southern part of Upshur County schools. This was due to low enrollment then. We need to look at the numbers of out-of-district students as a county, not just Rock Cave and Bridge Creek. Why are students out of district? Looking forward, we should be looking at getting students back into their home schools. Virtual school is another factor for low enrollment. This is a substantial number that continues to grow. We need to be taking a deeper dive into why children should be in schools where they can get a free education, receive 2 free hot, right now it's free meals, or reduced meals if that ever goes away again. And most importantly, socialization. Having both schools creates lower class sizes. Just because we can have those numbers does not mean we should. We need to consider that smaller class sizes are open for more individualized learning, whether it be for intervention for students who are filling in the gaps on missing stuff, or providing enrichment for students who are ready to move to more advanced learning. Students are thriving at Rock Cave Elementary School. I cannot see why you would want to close a school down that has made it into their sustainability year through the CIS, Comprehension Schools Improvement. When looking at the balanced school card for Upshur County schools, Rock Cave has no red, while other schools in the county do. In closing, we need to reconsider keeping Rock Cave Elementary School open because Rock Cave is Upshur County's best. That's a quote from Ms. Lunsford. She's a wonderful principal. On to my last one. This is from our wonderful Read Aloud. I am not able to attend the hearing this evening. And regarding the proposal of closing the Rock Cave Elementary School, I'm submitting some written comments instead. My husband and I have been residents of Upshur County since the fall of 1979 and active with the community. It is my pleasure to volunteer reader at Rock Cave Elementary School's first grade. I have been doing this for 16 consecutive years. Why did I choose Rock Cave? My feelings at the time I began to read aloud was that often that the outlying schools were overlooked in favor of schools closer to one's home. Additionally, the atmosphere at Rock Cave feels like family, and I have come to feel part of that family. Yes, Rock Cave has experienced a decline in enrollment, resulting in smaller classrooms. This is not necessarily a negative factor. Through the years, I have observed the closeness of all staff and the students, all teachers and classroom mates, indeed, all staff at Rock Cave Elementary School. Note, each of the students are dedicated to ensuring a positive learning environment. Smaller classrooms allow for more individualized teaching according to the students' learning style and needs. My comments are vague, not based on statistics, but my observations. I fear that if you combine, the result will be overcrowded classrooms as well as potential traffic jam during daily opening and closings.
What would become of the physical structure of Rock Cave if it was to close? Thank you for your time.
Kevin Campbell.
Good evening. I'm Kevin Campbell. I'm a board member of the Southern Upshur Business Association and a past president for more years than I wanted to be. I moved to Upshur County back in 2006. Bought an old school. I bought the old Adrian School. And over the last 19 years, I've heard a lot of stories about how things used to be in Adrian, and it's a far cry from what it is now. The biggest change being the school closed. It was merged with French Creek. The Adrian community died off rapidly. I fear the same thing is potentially going to happen here in Rock Cave. The people in this community have worked tirelessly to support this school. For years, we would have the president, the principal of Rock Cave come to SUBA meetings and speak about what was going on, and we could help with events, we could help with funding, we could help support. For 34 years, we've had the best Christmas parade in Upshur County, starting right out here in front. It's the only Christmas parade that's in the daylight where the kids can show off. All the grandparents and aunts and uncles can come out and take pictures of their kids twirling down Route 20. We get to shut down Route 20 for 45 minutes. As the parade coordinator for many years, that morning I got to be the boss of the sheriff and told him when to go. The involvement between the community and the school has been incredibly impressive. I mean, I came from Cleveland, so moving to West Virginia to a rural community and seeing how people interact together, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. As president of SUBA, I've also been a member of the Upshur County Development Association and a voting member. And the biggest thing plaguing Upshur County development is education. We can't get people to move to Upshur County. And closing one school is a step in the wrong direction. Eventually, we're going to get people here again because they're going to be fleeing other places they can't afford. And we need them to come here. We need them to be able to expect that there will be good schools here, small class sizes, excellent teachers, or we're doomed. We'll just be another town in West Virginia that's drying up and blowing away. We can't afford that. We can't afford to have another vacant piece of property sitting here. We have enough of those in Upshur County. Yeah. This building is got no value unless it's a school. And it's tremendous value to us to be open. Thank you.
Burton Hunter.
Good evening. I see familiar faces. I'm here for three reasons. I can't contribute what these people who know this community so well can, but I have three perspectives. I met my wife at the freshman mixer at West Virginia Wesleyan. She's from Connecticut, I'm from Wheeling. We made a life here. We raised 4 children here. Okay. I've been trying to add to the atmosphere and the education for a long time. Some people know that I came here as a preventive law officer from the Air Force. We got here 4th of July, 1976. And I spoke at the schools, and I deeply believe in Upshur County. I'm very active in Wesleyan's alumni organization. It's our home among the hills, but if it's all there by itself, and the outlying areas have faded away, we're in big trouble. This is the map. It's a reproduction. The big one, 6x4, is in the center hallway of the courthouse. I've litigated a case in this area 10 years. We're waiting for the Supreme Court to give us our final victory. Certainly hoping for that. That means I've been here. And recently, a Wesleyan alumnus asked me to read his novel set in Pickens and Helvetia and Holly Grove, starting in 1924 up to now. The history is amazing. When you hear what we've done to chase out the Native Americans, tear down our forests, ruin our waters, and then come back through the New Deal and actually have a beautiful, beautiful country. You know, if you drive right over to Thomas and Davis, those people from the east are just flooding into that area. And it's just another 45 minutes over there. And when stuff happens over there, and I don't want to scare you, but when it happens, they're coming here. But to do my research, I've been in Pickens twice recently, Helvetia twice. I've been up on the hill, the mountain. We've gone to Holly Grove. I went to see the Curry Library and had a great visit there. And when you go through Adrian and you go through Helvetia and you see the Echo, they were beautiful places. But this place will be like those places if you close. Thank you for your attention.
Connie Cutright.
Good evening. I am here this evening as a parent of a former Rock Cave student, a concerned community member, an Upshur County voter, and an Upshur County taxpayer. And before I begin, I must say I am very disappointed that at least a quorum of the West Virginia Department of Education board members did not have enough respect for our community and our school, for our school system to attend this important meeting tonight. Yet they get to make the decision on whether our school remains open or closes without hearing from our community, from our students, and from our teachers. It may be legal, but it's not right. We have all read your reasons as to why Rock Cave Elementary has been slated to close, and tonight we hope you are listening to our reasons for why it should remain open. Low attendance. In an article I read about the school closing on My Buchanan, it stated 26 students that should be attending Rock Cave Elementary are attending French Creek Elementary. If I understand correctly, parents were not given the option of enrolling their children in pre-K at Rock Cave this year. I wonder how many of those 26 were transferred because of parents not wanting to have children at two separate schools. I couldn't blame them. The 26 students that should be attending Rock Cave would bring Rock Cave's attendance to 97, and that's without preschool numbers, had they been allowed to retain their preschool program. More than 20 years ago, I attended a meeting here, well, may not have been here, when Rock Cave Elementary was on the chopping block again because of low attendance and lack of funds on the county level. A local parent did a deep dive into the Board of Ed's finances and found funds that no one seemed to know about. Therefore, the funding issue was laid aside. The attendance issue was easily resolved by redistricting students back to Rock Cave. Why would this not work again? How about all of the property that the Upshur County Board of Ed owns? I doubt that the superintendent, the assistant superintendent, board members, and certainly not the State Board of Ed members knows where all of these pieces are located, or if they have any potential use in the future of the school system. Perhaps some of these properties could be sold and the revenue added to the fund balance. It's difficult for us to understand wanting to close our school for funding issues when there are pockets of potential income out there not being looked at. One idea that was mentioned to me early in the school closure conversations included moving the board offices into empty spaces in the schools. My understanding from different news articles is that there is unused space at the Buchanan Academy, at least part of which would need major renovations in order for it to be used for students. Would the space be suitable with minor renovations for the Board of Ed to be housed there? The space needed for the Board of Ed employees would not be as great as the space needed in the original plan of moving Tennerton students there. The Board of Ed property, which is a prime piece of real estate, could be sold to recoup the cost of renovations with funds to spare, and the school system would have one less property to maintain and less empty space in the schools. The parking at the French Creek School is not sufficient for the students they have now. I counted before we left this evening, 45 spots. And you're looking at having 292 students there. Even if you divide that with, say, each parent might have two, that's 146 students that would have parents coming. 146. That's not grandparents. That's just parents. Parents attending school events have to park down the road somewhere and either walk back to the school along busy Route 20, sometimes with younger children in tow, or ask someone to pick them up. The educational system encourages parents to be involved and attend school functions, but how can they when there's no available parking, specifically safe parking? Splitting their programs into grades, or like, you know, pre-K through 2 is one, their programs is one, that doesn't work well. You're asking parents to take, if they have 2 children in the school, to take 2 days off, or 2 different days off work, 2 afternoons off work, or maybe they have to choose, oh gee, I get to go see my daughter in her program, but I can't take another day off now to go see my son. I am pretty sure if you look at the cost of preparing the ground and paving.
Time. Oh, I'm sorry.
You can leave us if you want us to put that as a matter of record.
Angel Moss.
Thank you all for being here today and allowing me to share my son's story. Scott was diagnosed with bilateral central hearing loss, which means he experiences permanent hearing reduction in both ears. Because of his issues with his inner ear or his auditory nerve, he has permanent hearing reduction in both ears. Oh, sorry about that. Put simply, the signals between his ears and the brain don't travel as far as most people do. His hearing is unique. One ear picks up high-pitched sounds while the other low-pitched sounds. As a result, the assistance from the hearing aids and the classroom amplification system is absolutely vital. Without these supports, even the clearest speech and instructions can be hard for him to follow. When we learned about Scott's diagnosis, we were anxious, filled with questions every parent would have. What do you see about his future? Will he be able to communicate experiences of life with other children? Over time, we've come to see that hearing loss is just one part of Scott's story. It's a piece that has inspired us to grow in compassion, patience, and love. Due to the extent of his hearing loss, Scott wears hearing aids in both ears. These small devices are truly incredible. They capture sounds from his surrounding, processes them, and delivers them to his ears in ways that he understands. Every morning, when he puts them on, I'm reminded of both his resilience and his amazing technology that supports him. We now refer to his hearing aids as a superpower because that's exactly what they have become. They help him tap into the world full of sound, connection, learning, making it unique, strong, and capable. Just like a hearer's gadgets, they help him accomplish incredible feats. Scott's hearing aids empower him to experience the world in his own remarkable way. Yet not every day is easy. There was a time when he told me he didn't want to wear his hearing aids at school. He said he'd like to be normal like everyone else. And this broke my heart. I understand his desire to become and belong like every child. From pre-K, Scott's teachers, Mrs. Carpenter, Mrs. Anderson, Mrs. Collins, Mrs. Hisson, Mrs. Stemple, they played a crucial role in his development. Their dedication and his speech and language have helped him discover his voice bit by bit. We couldn't have done this without their kindness and commitment. The more the educators and their family, they're not just educators to us, they're our family. They have cheered Scott's success and shown us education is rooted in caring as much as learning. To ensure Scott's hearing and he is able to hear his teachers, they need to use the classroom amplification system. That's what transmits their voices directly to his hearing aids, helping him fully participate in lessons. Without this technology, every great teacher will be inaccessible to him. Scott faces challenges. Sometimes the world is quiet, our background noises, concentration's difficult. Technology isn't foolproof. The batteries die, connections falls. His hearing aids make a huge difference. Scott may one day face complete hearing loss. With Rock Cave School closing, I worry. I worry about having larger classes. This could be even harder for Scott to hear his teachers. Every day, Scott works tirelessly to listen, focus, and process his information, and changes. Such a bigger classroom in unfamiliar spaces is just going to add problems. And you have 33 students with IEPs in Rock Cave and in French Creek combined. With Scott's IEP, it ensures that he gets the support that he needs.
Time.
Thank you.
Thank you. I can't read the first name, but it's Elmore. That's okay.
Yes, I seldom should have. My name is Lisa Elmore. I come as a local business owner of 30-plus years. I come as a former student. I come as a parent, a voting member of society. And I just want to thank you all for coming tonight. And I want to say thank you to all of these amazing people. I look at the sea of faces and I see them every day in my store. And without these people, it's going to hurt all the local businesses. You know, it's way easier just to run into Adrian's dollar store and get your milk and bread if you have to go pick up a kid there anyway. So we're looking at impacting not only our students, but their families, the local businesses, and that's incredibly unfortunate. I know that a low number of students is definitely something that you all are looking at quite sternly, but you know, these 71 children should not be penalized. If anything, looking at your faces as they're speaking speaks volumes. These kids are ripping at heartstrings. They're sitting here quietly at 9:30 at night when they should be in bed. Tomorrow they're going to be foggy-eyed and miserable in school, but they're going to show up, each and every one of them, because that's what they do. I have nothing but amazing, amazing memories of the school. My favorite teacher lives right there on the other side of this wall. Love her. I'm a Jean Weimer, just down the road. Scared me to death as a 5th grader. In fact, 10 years ago at a funeral, I heard somebody behind me say, "Is that Lisa Elmore?" And my knees buckled because it was I'm a Jean Weimer, and I thought the paddle was going to be somewhere connected with her. But it wasn't. She was there for the services. I have nothing but fond memories, and these children should be afforded those same hopes and same dreams. Personally speaking, I have a son that went to school here. He's now a teacher at the high school. He teaches mathematics. My daughter went here, got the Promise Scholarship, graduated from high school, went on to become a dental hygienist, and now my wallet is not grateful, but my mom heart is. She's back in school to become a dentist. So I personally know of doctors, lawyers, dentists, teachers, nurses, important people in our community, all started right here in this little tiny school. We're not fancy. Look at us. We're not fancy, but we come hard. You know, we celebrate together and we grieve together. And my hope is that we don't ever have to grieve losing the school. It's just something that should never, ever even be considered. I know money, it's always about money, but sometimes you have to look past that. There's exceptions to every rule. When I went to school, there were paddles involved. When I went to school, Eugene Nick could strike a piece of chalk across the board that would make you buckle at the knees because he made the most perfectly straight line to teach you cursive on. And those are things that these kids, I mean, you don't need fancy things. We don't need that. What we need is teachers. Obviously, we thought we have to have students who are involved and dedicated to their school. Look at these kids. Look at them. They're all sitting here just being angels. I mean, if that doesn't speak volumes to you, then nothing will. But, like I said earlier, looking at your faces while these kids are speaking, you know, you can be as tough as nails looking at me. I can't hold a candle to them. You know, I'm just somebody that went to school here when it first opened. These kids are here right in the thick of it now. Today's hard. The world is hard. The world is ugly. Kids should be able to be in an environment that is safe, that the teachers know all the names of every student that goes here, that the parents feel good about dropping their kids off.
because that's happening. I would just like to thank everybody for coming out and showing support, and I would like to thank all of you all for listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Tyler Shreve.
Thank you all for having me here tonight. It takes a village to raise a man, and there's a village right here, and I don't know that everybody who is making decisions realizes the impact of having a community like this behind these students. I did not attend Rock Cave Elementary. I started out in Academy, and then I got redistricted to Union whenever I went into my 3rd grade year. And having the time changes with the bus schedules and parents that were working, I was blessed enough to have a grandmother that was able to come and get me and take me to the bus stop. And that's something that perhaps not everybody here has. I understand the business perspective of wanting to utilize an entire facility and maximize what you can put into that. But as we've seen in many productions of vehicles and tools, forcing maximum production often leads to things breaking earlier over time and not lasting as long. And with a community like this, just across the road, there is a farm that I've caught wind has been able to give students here plants to take home and to have access to a greenhouse. These are skills and values that cannot be quantized on charts and numbers. So I guess that's about it.
Thank you, Tyler. Carolyn Davis.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight I come to speak for our Rock Cave Elementary School. Rock Cave Elementary School isn't just a school, it's a second home. I'm a former student of Rock Cave Elementary School. I graduated here from 5th grade. Yes, we are a smaller school, but bigger doesn't always mean better. If there is a smaller amount of students in a classroom, that means students can have more time for help from their teachers and bond more with their teachers like they're their best friends. I and other former classmates of mine have so many memories here, playing on the playground with little games, competitions, and so much more. We all loved all of our teachers, counselors, and principals. All of the field trips and granny wacky prizes, all filled with fun. It came to an end for us at the right time. Why not for everyone else at RCES should have a chance to graduate from here? The bus rides are already pretty long. Why should we make them even longer? People that live in Salem Ridge, Goshen, and other places far away from French Creek and Tennerton already have a long bus ride. Why should we make it even longer for high schoolers, middle schoolers, and even elementary schoolers? For the parents, they would have to drive even farther to pick up their kids if they're sick for an appointment, or if they're just going to a fun function at the school. That's even more work for the parents, not just for the kids. I was a member of student council here my 5th grade year, the treasurer, and that was a lot of fun. All my teachers were great, and my former classmates could probably agree on that with me. We went through some principals, but they were all filled with fun, teachers and all. All of the things we scheduled and did, dances, field trips, and all the field days filled with fun. Please save our school and don't shut it down. Thank you for your consideration. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Sarah. Caitlin Davis.
Good evening. My name is Caitlin Davis, and I'm here tonight not just as a former student of Rock Cave Elementary, but as someone who still carries that school in her heart and isn't afraid to speak up when something doesn't add up. I went to Rock Cave from kindergarten through 5th grade. That school wasn't just where I learned my ABCs. It was where I learned who I was. I remember being the first in my kindergarten class to count to 100, the 30-minute bus ride that felt like a mini adventure, and the smell of the library. Yes, the smell. It somehow made everything feel safe. That library wasn't just for books. It was our library, our art room, our music room, our choir space, and it was the home of the book fair. It was basically the heartbeat of the school for me. But what made Rock Cave special wasn't just the memories, it was the people. Teachers knew us, like really knew us. They knew our favorite animals, our quirks, and how we learned best. That kind of connection doesn't happen in crowded classrooms. It happens in places like Rock Cave. Now I've read your closure folder, and in page 4, in enrollment 3.2.a, it says Rock Cave has room for over 100 students, but only has 71 enrolled. Okay, so sure, that is a big gap in numbers, but let's be real. Education isn't about filling seats. It's about giving kids what's needed to grow. You want full classrooms, and sure, that looks great on a chart and in a perfect world. But we don't live in a perfect world, nor on a chart. This is real life. And full classrooms are just chaos. In bigger schools like French Creek, teachers are stretched thin. Kids get less attention, and classrooms are packed. Students become just another name on a list. Now, let's talk about Buchanan Upshur High School. In the 2024-2025 school year, it had 1,120 students in a building meant for 1,300. That's an 86.15% utilization rate using your charts. And yes, I know high schoolers aren't the same as elementary kids. I'm a sophomore. I get it. But learning is learning, whether you're 5 or 15. And when classrooms are full, teachers can't give every student the attention they deserve. Trust me, I know. They teach to the middle and hope everyone keeps up. That's not growth, that's just getting by. And now, let's talk money, because I know that's the real reason behind this. You say your biggest cost is personnel here, the teachers and the staff. But here's the kicker. You'll still be paying those salaries. You're not cutting costs, you're just moving them around. The teachers won't be at Rock Cave, true, but they'll still be on payroll somewhere else. So if saving the money is the goal, closing Rock Cave doesn't do that. It just messes with the community and hurts the quality of kids' education, while the biggest expense stays exactly the same. Let's look strictly at the numbers. The official binder claims the RCES staff cost is $1,456,145.32. But there's a spreadsheet compiled by my mother and other staff using actual salaries for each position, and it shows that the real total is $784,242.07. That's a difference of $671,903.25. That's not just a mistake, it is a massive inflation. And if you're making decisions about closing a school based on flawed data, this whole process is going to need a serious reality check. Rock Cave isn't just a school. It's a place where kids are known, supported, and given the space to grow, where learning isn't rushed and teachers actually have time to care. Speaking of caring, I remember in first grade, whenever I was little, during a test, I thought I did horrible, and Miss Davis sent me down the hallway to talk to our counselor, Ms. Millance. And she made it seem like it was just a paper delivery, but I really was upset about it, and she could tell just by how I was doing on the test. That is genuine teaching caring. I don't think you could go to French Creek and find that same thing. So I'm asking you, are you making decisions based on what's best for budgets or what's best for students? Because if that's the latter, Rock Cave deserves to stay open.
My next one has two names on the line, so I don't know whether you're presenting together. Catherine Davis and Elena Bender. I think you are. Why don't you step over to the side so we can see you? Thank you.
My name's Elena, and I really want to save our school. Save our school because I really want to graduate from Rock Cave, like my whole family did.
Catherine Davis, 2025. Please don't shut down our school because it has the best playground, it has the only school, it has a walking trail. Please don't shut our school down.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Elena. Natasha Davis.
Good evening. Those are my kiddos. So proud of them. And my husband, I guess I'm proud of him too. I have a lot of things that I've written, and I've made phone calls, and I've emailed. A lot of my same sentiment has been echoed here tonight. So I just want to, reiterate those. Obviously, we all oppose this closure. It would affect a lot more than just 71 students. It affects our whole community. We urge you and the state to look at other options to see if there's a way that you can still afford us, to keep our kids here. If after you look at all the options and you just absolutely have to break our hearts and close our school and alter our community, I do ask that you at least delay to add the additional parking needed at French Creek. Because that would put our kids in danger, because I'm very active in this school, and I would be at French Creek as well. It's a great school, I love them. I would fight for them as well. So when I go there, if you would close this school, I don't want to walk with my 4 kids along Route 20 to get to a program. That's dangerous and it's scary, and it needs more parking right now, let alone when you add our kids, our families, our community members. So I hope that's in the discussion, and I hope that's in the planning. Ultimately, I hope you don't close it. I'm very good at fundraisers. I'm very active in PTO. My fellow PTO moms are here. I mean, I don't think we could fundraise $1 million, but we'd be willing to try. Just saying, throw that out there. But thank you guys. We appreciate you coming and listening.
Thank you, Natasha. Justin Davis.
Let's go back to what she said about French Creek and needing more space. They've got a seems like a 5-year plan with this place. 5 years ago, we want to upgrade this, upgrade that. Let's just keep talking about the shutdown in 5 years. It's going to affect the community, the education. Think of the sicknesses. Attendance is going to go down when you start crowding rooms. Teachers will start missing. Kids will start missing. Property values, like people's talked about. Just the safety of the kids at that school. Parking lot here is pretty safe. School's pretty good. Teachers kick ass. I mean, can't really ask for much more. Just please reconsider. Don't want to see it happen. That's probably about it.
Thank you, Justin. Alyssa Hope.
I'll be honest. When I first wrote what I wanted to say,
It's not on.
oh, sorry.
There you go.
I'll be honest. When I first wrote what I wanted to say, it came out pretty bitter. That's what happens when you're a mom, fighting for your children. But I've taken time to breathe, to process, and to make sure my words reflected both my passion and my love for this school. Good evening, everyone. My name is Alyssa Hope, and I'm here tonight not just as a community member, but as a mom. A mom who has watched her child grow, learn, and find belonging inside these schools' walls we're here to talk about. When I heard the word closure, my heart sank. Because to me, and to so many of us, this isn't just a building, it's where our kids take their first step towards independence, where they learn to read their first words, and where they start to believe in themselves. It's a place where teachers know your children by name, where the cafeteria lady asks about their weekend, and where the principal greets them with a smile every single morning. And we are beyond thankful for Amber, our new principal. That's not something you can recreate everywhere else. My son Lucas started here scared and unsure. I still remember the mornings watching him cry as he walked into the school, nervous and overwhelmed. And I remember the teachers and staff who met him right at the door, who knelt down to reassure him, who took his hand when he needed it. This school didn't just teach him, it held him. Over time, because of the people inside this building, I watched that same little boy walk himself into school, confidently, proudly, and without tears. That kind of growth doesn't happen everywhere. That happens in a place where kids feel safe, supported, and truly seen. This school gave him that gift. As a mom, I see what this school gives our kids every day. Safety, stability, and love. For some children, this is the only safe place they have. This is where they get encouragement when home life is hard. This is where they feel seen. If this school closes, it's not just about longer bus rides or different teachers. It's about taking away their home base. For many small towns, families like ours, this school is the heartbeat of the community, the place that brings us together for Halloween parties, Christmas programs, and the community outreaches. Without it, a piece of our town's soul goes missing. I know numbers and budgets matter, but I also know that hearts matter too. I lost my place. I know that hearts matter too, and the hearts of our children should never be the price we pay to balance a spreadsheet. Please, before you make this decision, think about the faces of the little ones walking those hallways, the ones who proudly show you their artwork on the bulletin board, or the ones who still wave to their teachers long after the bell rings. Think about what this school means to them. As a mom, I am asking not in anger, but from the deepest place of love. Please don't take this away from them. Let's fight for our school, for their future, and for the community that is some of these children's village.
Thank you, Ms. Jeremiah Jeffries.
Good evening. My name is Jeremiah Jeffries. I'm a Buchanan Upshur High School senior who attended Rock Cave Elementary, kindergarten through 5th grade. I have been awarded the Distinguished Honor Roll, a first-generation college student, and I am in the top 10% of test takers in VUHS. None of this would have been possible without Rock Cave Elementary. The education I received at Rock Cave was a good foundation. The teachers and students were close-knit like a family. All the teachers knew each kid there. I'm still close friends with kids that I met in kindergarten. I feel that I had an advantage being taught at a smaller school because the teachers were able to help us individually in the ways that we learned best. We were held individually accountable as well. I have interned the past 2 summers at Community Care in Rock Cave and plan to again this summer. I will be going to WVU in the fall of 2026 to pursue a degree in accounting. Ideally, I will be employed with Community Care after graduation. I have also received an informal offer from the local fire department for accounting services once I graduate. I am concerned that if Rock Cave Elementary closes, the community will suffer and my local work opportunities will be limited. I would like to live, work, and raise my family in the same place that I was raised. Before I interned at Community Care, I was planning to move out of state. If young West Virginians are to stay in West Virginia, there has to be something here for us. I think that closing Rock Cave Elementary would definitely be a move in the wrong direction. Rock Cave is currently a stable little community. If you take away Rock Cave Elementary, you take away the basis of opportunity and will most likely cause a lot of harm to the community as a whole. I was worried about how the closure and empty school will be a symbol of loss and decline for our small community, impacting families and businesses. So some of my questions for the Board of Education are, what will happen to the building? Will the Board of Education still have to pay for upkeeping such as heat, electric, and lawn care, or will it waste away and leave a giant eyesore in the community, causing new families to choose to live elsewhere? If paying for upkeeping, what will that cost be versus keeping the school up and running? The school grounds serve as a safe place for our community and families to be healthy and outdoors. Would the community be able to utilize the playground and walking trail still? Would the building be sold? And if so, would the price be reasonable for someone to purchase? Where would the funds from selling the building go to? Would the Board of Ed pay for the upkeeping, such as lawn care and heating for plumbing, until it is sold? If so, how much will that cost? And also, where would voters in that precinct vote? School closures should be the last resort when balancing the budget. We heard at the end of last school year that Hodgesville and Washington District elementaries were on the chopping block. That idea quickly went by the wayside. The day before the official start of this school year, we learned that Tennerden and Rock Cave elementaries are in danger of closure. The application submitted to the CBA for work that needed to be completed for Buchanan Academy to absorb Tennerden Elementary was dated for September 11, 2025. This application shows local funds commitment to be $1,898,913. It is stated in the document September questions and answers for closure posted to the BOE website. In the answer to the question, do we currently have the funds to support this project? The answer was yes, in carryover from prior years, and once the financial statements are finalized, we will have the knowledge of estimated funding support in the form of carryover from fiscal year 2025. Fast forward to October 21st, 2025, it is reported that the closure of Tenerton and merger with Buchanan Academy is no longer recommended because the county cannot secure funding even if...
Time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jan Barron.
Hi, I'm Jan Barron. I am not a parent of a student that's ever been in any school in Upshur County, but I have been a part-time member of the county since 1990, and I am a member of the Settlers Club in Indian Camp, and a lot of you know we have the best social in the county. I came to speak about how important your second grade class is to us, but I have a few other things I'd like to say too, because I didn't realize how passionate I could become about this just sitting here for a few hours. Mrs. Carpenter's second grade class comes to see us, and that's a part of their reading, because they're reading about Little House on the Prairie and how things were quite a few hundred years ago. They learn a lot by learning their history, our history of Indian Camp, and we appreciate it because they're taking our history and sharing it with their friends and their family, and they're helping to keep our history alive. And if you don't know the history of the Indian Camp Normal and the rock that looks like an Indian's face and what really happened out there, you're welcome to contact us. Come see us. We'll give all your classes a tour because we love Indian Camp. And those children keeping our history continuing, that's an important part to us, and we feel like it's important for them to learn history. That was what I was supposed to say. I want you to know, I raised my kids in North Carolina. Their classes were supposed to be 24 to 26 kids. Their classes were from 31 to 35. I have two brilliant sons. They both have ADHD. If it weren't for the fact they have a very intelligent mom, I don't know that they would have graduated, because they didn't get the attention they needed because they had 31 to 35 kids in a classroom. So when they came home from school, mom had to make sure they got back on task, they finished their homework, and they learned the things they knew. I'm a preacher's kid. I went to 5 different schools and one 3-year session of what we call correspondence school back then, and it would be online school or homeschooling now. What I would have given and still would give to have a school that I could walk through the hallways now and say, I want the kindergarten in that room, first grade there, second grade there, fourth grade there. To have that heritage would have meant so much to me. If my family budget was screwed up by some nefarious means, and I had prime property that could pay for it, for my kids to go to college, I would be a fool not to sell that prime property and pay for my kids' education. If Upshur County Board of Education has property that is sitting unused, but is having taxes on it, is having upkeep on it, and can be sold to solve financial insecurities for our schools. I do vote. I vote every election since I was 18 years old. I'm going to vote the next election. I think that the financial aspect of this really, really needs to be looked at and find out where those extra dollars are hiding. If I need to look at for extra money in my family's budget, then a Board of Education, a county, a nation should not make anyone pay, especially children, if there are funds available. And my last question is not about Rock Creek, but about the middle school and the high school, and I've only heard this tonight. Have you consulted professionals in child psychology to see what would be the detriment to middle school children going in with high school children? I have teenage grandchildren, and I know what the detriment can be when you mix middle schoolers and high schoolers. They don't need to be in the same school. They have too much they know too early now, and you really, 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 really need to talk to child psychologists before that would ever be considered. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I don't really have a speech prepared. It's more like voice note thoughts that have been transcribed on my way to and from work, so bear with me here. I'm a single dad, full-time dad, full-time slave to my work, so I leave at sometimes 4:30 to 5 o'clock in the morning and don't get back home until 6, so I rely on family and friends heavily with my daughter getting to and from school and doing extracurricular activities and stuff. So moving to school further away, I'm sure not only mine, there's other families that, grandparents take care of the kids or are closely involved in raising them and getting them to and from school, so that's just a major complication you're going to add to a lot of people's lives. And I know maybe, the county's trying to save money and find solutions. I just hope y'all are looking for the right solutions. What's really going to cost is the kids and the parents, the teachers, the staff, and the families. That's who's really going to have to pay for this if it goes through. A lot of it's been mentioned already, but a lot of the kids in the far reaches of this side of the county have a long bus ride, and a few miles, several miles, and several more minutes is only add to that, and it'll just really be hard on the kids. And I'm not sure on the specifics on this, but it's a question I have. I know just a couple years ago I drove by and I noticed that they'd done a lot of work to the roof of the school, a lot of new units up there. I don't know if they resealed the roof or what the units were put up there, but I'm sure it was expensive because the units are pretty large. They just put a lot of money in, put in secure insurance. So there's been a lot of money put back in the school. It's a clean, tidy, nice school, man. I mean, if you look around, it's super clean, super tidy from the outside. If you look up on Google Maps, you look by, the playground's beautiful. The school's nice and tidy. It's a good looking place, and we hate to see it, grown up and abandoned and just an eyesore if you all close it down. My daughter Lily, she has so much pride in her school. Like, she bleeds Rock Cave Rocket with white and blue since day one. She loves school, always has, always will. The teachers, the staff, and the atmosphere of the school, I attribute to her being so confident and has helped shape her the person she is. And I'm super proud of her and super proud of the school for helping her do that. Our children, they're in school more than they're at home, so it's like their second home or their first home, really, if you will. So teachers and staff have a major influence on them. And in this school, everybody's pretty close, tight-knit, almost like a family. And that's why it's so important to have teachers, staff, and the school and the parents to trust and believe in each other. And I feel that moving our kids to another school is going to create a lot of unrest and uneasy feelings among the parents, the kids, and the teachers. It'll be like starting all over again for us. It'll be like starting all over again. The teachers, there's teachers here now that were here when I attended elementary school, and that's just a rare experience that you're not going to find anywhere else only in small schools like Rock Cave. And I just want to invite any of you all, like on a school day, to come and walk through the halls and just feel this. There's an embodiment of positive energy here that just vibrates through the whole school and through every student, through the staff, and the parents when they come. That's why the parents are so involved too. It's a great place. I've never really experienced anything like it, and I invite you guys to come in on a regular day. and see what that's like. And I know that the modern way of thinking, the modern schools and stuff, just want to pack students in like sardines and just want to see numbers and stuff like that. But you know, really you should think of each kid as a student of education, not just a number. It makes it harder on the kids, the teachers, and the staff, and even the parents at home when they get packed into small class, into big classes. I don't know why you want to pack elementary students into a place like sardines. It already happens when they get to middle and high school. They're in a smelting pot, all kinds of different walks of life and students. So I don't know why you should grant children K through 5 the privilege to have that small group community feeling as long as they can, because once they get to middle and high school, they get thrown right out to the thick of it into the world. So I feel that it's essential for students to fill that small group and to be able to know their teachers on a personal level. Thank you.
Thank you. Liliana, it's your choice whether you want to include it in the record. Okay.
Hi, my name is Elaine President, and I don't want our school to be shut down because our school has so many loving teachers, so many happy students. Sure, our school is not a big school. It is a school that has happy and love. Our school has so much history and so much love. I've been in Rock Cave since kindergarten. It is a really good school, and our school has good attendance and has a good reputation. From the students to the teachers, everybody knows each other and treats each other with kindness. Our school is the best school that I could ever have. Some students' parents work a lot, and making them go from the way to another school only complicates their life. Some people already live far away from the school, so moving them will make it even longer. I think that you guys shouldn't shut down our school. Our school is a really good school, and everyone loves it. Everybody knows each other. Everybody is friends. Our school is a great learning environment. Our school is a really good place. Please don't shut down Rock Cave. I have so much good friends, and I've been at this school since I was little. Our school is a very good place. Please don't shut down our school.
Thank you.
Actually got a short clip I want to show you guys. You've heard a lot about the safety issues at Prince Creek, like whenever, just recently. I'll show this after, and I'll show you that after. So this is driving, that's 3/10 of a mile from the school there. That's the old plumbing building there. You can see how packed up it is. And you keep driving. Like I said, that's 3/10 of a mile from the school, and it's packed up. That, and, you know, that's just kindness of people letting them park in their area. Right here, you see people literally park on the white line on the road. There's the post office filled up, and it keeps going. You see all the way back through there. People walking along Route 20. So that's just in case any of you didn't realize that. You want to see it firsthand there. And then on a normal school day, that was at an event at the school, so it was even worse. But on a normal school day, at the end of the day, the pickup line is backed up all the way under the road, so there's that. And then there's a couple things. He sent me a text and said, talking about the safety risk of the parking, obviously, there's not enough parking for a regular school day, let alone on a special day, as shown in the video. Also, many kids, you're going to lose attendance even more because there's going to be a lot of kids and parents that will go to private school or homeschooling if Rock Cave gets shut down. So that's something to consider. And there's a lot of business owners, a lot of individuals that, we've paid taxes in this district their whole life. And it would be appropriate for our kids to be able to go to school in the district that they live in, obviously. We've got a grocery store, lots of small businesses, a health clinic, a pharmacy, and many businesses that operate that pay taxes within the district. And again, our students and parents deserve to be able to send their kids to a school that's in the district that they live in, not in the district, 8 miles away, 6 miles away, whatever it is. So we need to keep the school as a very important part of development for the community and also for young school-age children in their first years of education to be at a local school in their district. And just know that we will not let our school go, even if it takes litigation. There are some wealthy members of the community that will dedicate time and funds to see that the discrepancies of the state, county, and the impact statements will be exposed and a battle will be fought. Thank you.
Thank you. Careful.
Well, it's almost over. My name is Mary Heyer, for those of you that do not know me. I've lived my lifetime in Upshur County. The past 30 years of it have been in Rock Cave. I worked with Board of Education for 35 years, including 4 years at French Creek Elementary, and I retired from Rock Cave Elementary in 2017. Both are good schools, but Rock Cave Elementary is our school. As a child, I attended Adrian Grade School, along with most of my family. I have personally seen what happens to a community when it loses its school. Once a school goes, a steady decline starts. The school is the focal point of the community, and I think you all realize that. This evening, I am here representing Stargazer Garden Club and Rock Cave Eastern Star Aletha Chapter number 82. Both have been very active community supporters of Rock Cave Elementary School. We will start with Aletha Chapter, Eastern Star. We have helped and pretty much started with the help of Amanda Craig, the past principal, the backpack program in this area. I ordered the food. I was the cafeteria manager. I ordered the food for the backpack program. Our members from the Eastern Star came and we packed backpacks weekly. Later, we had Lions Club and a couple other organizations that came to help us, and we alternated weekends. We were not allowed to pack backpacks for quite a while. And then, thanks to the new principal that is here now, she is allowing us to pack backpacks. But of course, we have to pack them out there in that back wall because we can't be around the kids. Because we old people aren't going to go through background checks. We have sponsored the local Easter egg hunt here for years and years. We give away baskets, bicycles, you name it. We have around 50 kids that come out each year for the Easter egg hunt. Eastern Star also gives 2 $500 scholarships every year. One to a graduating senior from Rock Cave Elementary and one to a graduating senior from French Creek Elementary. And I want you to know that regardless of what happens here, this will continue. So you kids apply. The applications that have been submitted by Rock Cave Elementary students have been absolutely wonderful. I see them come in the door when they're this high, and now I hug them when they're grown men back here tonight. Good feeling. Stargazer Garden Club. Most of the trees you see in this playground, the fruit trees you see on the side of the building down here, were all bought and planted by Stargazer Garden Club members. Gardening started at Rock Cave as a monthly club. Principal Craig said, oh, we're going to have clubs. We're going to try that and see how that, on time? 1 minute? Oh, good grief. Okay. Anyway, we built container beds, and we started with milk cartons and come up to container beds. We wrote grants, and we have the greenhouse now, and that greenhouse is being used. It may be only being used by 2 people right now, but at one time, we were using it. And my question to you is, if you decide to close this school, there is still money in that fund. And I feel that that greenhouse needs to be moved to French Creek Elementary along with the children, if that be your decision. And if you come short on the money, you give me a call. I have the contacts.
Thank you, Mayor. James Tuning.
Hi, I'm James Tuning. From December 2018 until August of this year, I've had at least one daughter in this school. I still have 2 in this school right now, but due to family members' decline in health, we had to move to Lackawanna to stay with them and take care of them. And whenever we told our daughters that we were going to have to do that, and then pull them from this school, it devastated them. And my wife and I promised them that next year we're going to bring them back up here. And I'm going to do that. Next year I'm going to bring them back up here. 2018 is when our daughters were placed in foster care. And my oldest daughter, who is now a freshman at the high school, had she found out we were coming up here and she said, I want to go, but she had a prior engagement survey. And in like 10 minutes she wrote this. And her name is Summer Tooney. The reason why I think Rock Cave Elementary School should stay open, because I have been tossed from school to school because I was in foster care. And I only remember Rock Cave School. When I started to go to Rock Cave School, I was scared and nervous. But all the teachers helped me through it. Rock Cave School is the only school I can trust. Also, I found my best friend there, and everyone got the support that they needed. Also, the cooks made sure we were fed. I would like the chance to walk the halls of Rock Cave School whenever I graduate. Thank you, Summer King. This girl, whenever she came into this school, 2nd grade, she couldn't read her own name, couldn't spell her own name. Her 3rd grade year, that's when COVID hit. She struggled, but the teachers were still involved. Even during that, they called, do all they had to do to keep her going. At the end of her 8th grade year, she had a 3.5 GPA. We told her, I think it was about a month ago, that they were going to be closing Rock Cave School. Right now, she currently has 4 Fs because she doesn't care anymore. Because she was looking forward so much to walking these halls when she graduated.
Thank you. Betty Heater.
Hi everyone, my name's Betty Heater. This is my son Keegan Heater. And I just want to let you guys know some issues that you'll have to spend more money on him next year in his school. He has seizures. I was told last year that he could ride a school bus because he has a narcotic that he has to take if he has a seizure. And they told me my best bet was to drive him to school to and from. I work at community care. They made arrangements so that I would be able to do that. If French Creek is his school next year, I'm not going to be able to transport him. So you're going to need a bus driver because they said the medicine can't be with other kids on the bus because it is a controlled substance. And he'll need an aide. He'll be in 5th grade, so I'm hearing that's going to be 100% capacity. He doesn't have normal seizures. He has focal seizures. And he doesn't shake and do all this stuff. He just stares off. Him being in a school, in a class with 30, 35 kids, they may not catch his seizure in time. He has to have medicine within 4 minutes. So I just want you guys to know issues that you will have to make accommodations for him if you do close down our school. Here, everyone, he's safe. He knows if he has an issue, his teachers will be there for him. They all know what needs to be done if he has a seizure. They all have the training. The nurses train them all. That's all stuff that you will have to do for the whole staff at French Creek. And want to say anything? No? Okay. That's all.
Thank you. This now concludes our portion of the public speaking. I will now ask the administration to respond to any information that has been presented.
So one of the questions that was asked this evening was how much money is saved by closing Rock Cave? Asking about all personnel costs, upkeep, and utilities. That is in that, is in the impact statement in that chart. That was put together by our treasurer at the board office. I'm sorry. Sure. I'm sorry. So the question was, how much money is saved by closing Rock Creek? So in the impact statement, Rock Creek, dear Lord, sorry. I read it down wrong. She wrote it.
I wrote it down wrong.
Sorry. And you were asking about the savings. So when we are looking in the impact statement at those, the treasurer did provide those based on items that she could pull from her financial statements. The personnel costs, that includes all personnel costs, which includes all of the peripherals, which include insurance, taxes, Social Security, everything that has to be paid. So when we talk about a teacher or a service personnel salary, that doesn't include all of that, and she has that all included there. When we're talking about utilities and upkeep, again, she took what she had available based on a year's worth and then went back and looked at the average to come up with what the upkeep and utilities costs were that were in there. I believe the other questions have been about alternatives. Alternatives have been looked at. I know that there were some other schools that were mentioned. Washington District cannot be closed due to COVID rules when you use that money, which was done, of course, prior to my arrival. It has to stay open for a minimum of 10 years due to the changes that were made in that school to their HVAC system. And there were some other considerations that we had to look at Hodgesville, not just transportation. There have been mentions of selling properties, timbering properties. That would be a one-time influx of funding for the school system. We do look at that. We do finally have what we feel is a pretty good list of properties that are sitting out there, and we are working on taking care of those. The question was asked about unrestricted funds and why can they not be used. Unrestricted, even though they're labeled unrestricted funds, and I will to Uriah to make sure I'm saying this right. In our budget and in our financial statements with unrestricted funds, they are still earmarked to be spent on certain projects and objects within a county budget. Am I saying that correctly? Okay. Yes.
So the question about the unrestricted fund balance has come up several times tonight. You know, there is currently an influx of funds within the unrestricted fund balance of the county. However, just some history, and maybe some of you already know this, from 2016 through 2019, the county was in an operating deficit, or like $0, which means there was no money at all in the county to be able to put towards these things that we're talking about. Then we had COVID. COVID brought forth some additional funding from the federal level, and that really helped boost the fund balance of the county. Another thing that we really haven't talked about tonight in much detail is the fact that the county also had an excess levy in effect throughout that period of time as well, which has failed, and actually 2025 was the first year the county didn't have those excess funds. That equaled about $3.5 million. So the fund balance that existed in 2024, which is on that impact statement, when you look at 2025 and how they closed out, the county is actually down about $2 million. So we're already seeing the trend of that unrestricted fund balance declining. So you know, when the question is asked, well, how much money is needed to keep Rock Cave open? There's really not a number. You know, what we're trying to, or what the county is trying to decide upon is how do we slow down that snowball effect, because that's currently what we're in the midst of. Year over year now, you know, the county is trying to find ways to keep some of what was being covered under the excess levy while also trying to maintain services, and it's just this big hodgepodge of a perfect storm that's hit, and again, they have to make certain decisions at the county level accordingly. So I hope that helps answer that question as to you know, why the fund balance exists. You know, one other thing is that we advise at the state level that the county maintain a certain fund balance percentage, which is 16.67% of the
the levies or the operating revenue of the county. With this most recent reduction of fund balance, the county now falls below that recommendation. And we have that recommendation in place in case of emergencies and so forth. If a county needs a roof replacement, you just don't know what's going to take place throughout the course of the year. So there's a recommended fund balance percentage that the county is now below. But again, very quickly getting back to the times in this county when the county was operating in a deficit or at a low fund balance.
There were some questions regarding outdated info on the facilities use that are in the impact statement. Those were the only available ones that had been completed back when the comprehensive educational facilities plan had been completed prior to any of us being here. That was for a 10-year period, and the architecture firm that helped support the county in that is what they were able to provide for us. Some have mentioned about an expedited schedule. We are following the timelines from policy as we're working through this process. And after decisions are made here, we all know that this will then go to the state board. Asking about how funds are going to be used, we will be able to make sure that the budget, as Uriah was speaking about, and that we have the funds necessary to keep the entire system functioning. We have looked at traffic at French Creek. I want to assure you of that. And the suggestion of making sure that we take care of those issues prior to moving the students there. We do have a time frame that we can do that. Impact of school closures on the public and the local community, we do understand that. We do understand that because we do know that that does remove dollars from businesses. It also can impact your property values, etc. We are very acutely aware of that. We also, several of you mentioned things about districting and students being out of their district schools. We have been looking at that, and Mr. Reynolds, the transportation director, and I have been looking at routes. Also looking at students with Mrs. Basden, where parents have requested that students go to out-of-district schools. So we are looking at those redistricting lines again. And if there, as you know, the open enrollment policy does state that if there's not room in certain grade levels, then we have to do a denial of students being able to attend those schools. Every dollar that is saved, we will be putting back into the entire school system. It's not going to go anyplace else to help us with our continuing issues. Like I stated at the beginning, this is not easy. It's not easy on any of us. We pulled data that was available to us. We did use a projection method because there's a lot of that data that is not readily available and has not been certified. We are continuing to look at all avenues as we go through this process. So I think I've hit on the major topics that were shared this evening.
This now concludes the public hearing portion. We do have future meetings, one on November 18th at BUHS at 6 o'clock. The hearing for the closures on November 20th, that is at 5:30 at BUHS. December 2nd and December 16th at Buchanan Upshur High School. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Mr. Parker at first. Do I have a second to that? Mrs. King. All of those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are now adjourned at 10:40. Thank you all for coming.